more like having an office job. You have to do it certain hours, and if you don't do it those hours, and then everybody like, where are you? Meaning I could be missed for 3 weeks before someone missed me, unless now I'm on your show. That's where I'm
trying
missed.
to do 2 blog posts a week, but I would be fine if I did 1 a week.
Well, you can also
if
do
I
them
didn't
before,
do
and then you
if
can
I
patch
missed a
them
whole
out.
week, I never did it that way.
Ah,
Surprisingly,
I do at times.
no, they were all on demand.
Ah, I do at times. Yeah.
But no one was holding me to that. That was all my own pressure on myself. And if I missed a week, then I felt like, I was doomed.
When it comes to my Patreon posts and stuff, I've deliberately not set like a certain time of the week or anything like that. I can once or twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week or whatever, but it should come sporadically but frequently, so to speak. That's my rule. So that way it's not kind of something that I don't, otherwise people will be like, oh,
hey Patrick, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Hello.
What's up, Rich?
Hey guys,
Hello.
how's my video? All good?
Yeah, it's good.
Hey Gallagher, what's up, man?
I need to log
tell
into
us.
chat here. Yeah.
Okay, you hear us? I just wanted to make sure. Awesome. 15 months, Patrick. It seems like forever. Thank you very much. Whew. I gotta close my door, so I'm gonna do that as I hit the troller games. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Jim Watson. We almost got a hype train already.
Oh, wow.
What's up, Tom? Patrick, you tried to bump it, but you can't because you already did one, so it's got to be someone else that bumps it. That'll count during the height, but yeah, you can't. It's got to be 3 different individuals. I appreciate that thought. It'll be alright. Got it. A couple minutes here. Woo! Dole. Sorry. Let's go to this. I don't know what time Blue Box is finishing. LNL 3rd anniversary. Hey, Gallagher, thanks, man. And we got, look at that. We got a hype train. So wait, LNL's 3rd anniversary.
Okay. Might be.
I don't, is it? I don't know.
Might very well be. Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. I think we're up to 3 years now.
Jason, how do you surmise that?
We can go back and look at, hang on a second. We can look at the first one. Look at
you'd have to go on the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It may be Legends of Lord's 3rd anniversary. I don't think it's 3rd anniversary on here. It could. No, there's no way. First episode on YouTube. What was the date on it?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Well, you got to remember also. That was. That was another channel. Person's channel, right?
Yep. It was October 11, 2018. So, yep.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yep. So it is 3 years.
3 years.
since we had our first kind of little.
That's crazy.
Yep. Desperate kind of thingy. But it was fun back then too. But it was not as elaborate and kind of in-depth and cool that we have it today, but we have to start sometimes, and I'm not much of a streamer, and so that was I never done it technically or any of that before, so we started. Yeah,
that's funny.
I threw together the template for the one that we still use for the when you send out the the promo thing for the show and all that. So that's been with us since the very first episode.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it's fun. So, yeah. Thank you, Jay, for giving Legends of Lore you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that. None of us would have known that unless Jason had told us.
Yeah,
because,
thank you so much, Jason, to checking
not
that up. So
known
yep,
that.
so this is the three-year anniversary, and then we what episode is this?
121. So
Okay.
first 30, 29 were on the Greyhawk channel.
Yep.
Yep. So. Happy anniversary. So we're getting close to.
And I also love that you do a lot of the technical stuff, because that way we can
I
run
try.
it every week. Yeah, every week, because there was I had to update everything and send it out and do all the. And everyone who watched this should know that is a lot of work going on, just maintaining everything, sending out, doing the promo things and advertising for it,
I appreciate that.
and setting up all the stuff. That is like several hours of work. Usually it's like almost as much work as it is in broadcast time, so to speak.
It's like running an indie game.
Yeah, exactly. The prep
Yeah,
work
take
and,
that.
and the stuff around it takes as much time as running the actual game, so to speak. And it's the same thing with streaming and things. And also, especially doing like YouTube videos when you have to do editing and stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing. I just DM the torpedoes and upload them now.
Yeah.
But then now with that's even tougher now because of all the things that happened with the hack. So it takes a lot longer to get them uploaded. So, but that's okay.
But it's so much fun to do stuff like this too.
Yeah.
Especially now when you're sitting at home from the pandemic in a couple of years, it's been a lifeline to have so many.
Hopefully everyone's good tonight.
That's why we got that $37 million from Twitch last year, Jay, according to the hack.
Exactly. Yes.
What's that? Me? What?
Wait, that's where you got that $37 million according to the hack.
Yeah.
They probably added it was only $375,000.
Oh.
They put like the comma one, the dot, and it ended up one wrong or something. So yeah. Or 3.7 million or something.
Well, that's
So,
awesome, Coleman, to get all
Yeah.
those on Craigslist. That is really cool.
Yeah.
This discussion tonight will be, we'll see what direction it goes. And thank you for the initial pre-stream level 1 hype train there. So we're just starting to get rolling here. People will be hopping on. Yeah, that is the hall. That's really cool. It doesn't even matter what condition they're in.
Now, I'm worried about this hype train, Jay. I assume you told everybody that I'm on tonight and not Lord Resin. Not to confuse
Well, now you
anybody.
have to live up to even more than the present here. Yeah.
And two completely different people.
Yeah.
And my real phone is ringing, of course, and I'm just letting it ring.
Maybe I need to unplug that thing.
Yeah, I shouldn't I? Good evening. We're still a little early, but that's okay. Oh, Tom, thanks. Tom, right at post-hype train, we'll take that. Oh, thanks, Tom. That was really nice. Oh, you hit some good ones there. Awesome, dude. Thank you. Hey, in good shape. That's great. Getting them. Wow. All right, I get to yell at a couple of people. One second here. That is really cool. What's up, Michael? Thank you, Tom. Keep on cranking. Your key Dragon Magazine articles. We shall see. Yelling.
The oldest dragon I have is 39. I I don't have. I think
You got
I
the
have.
anti-paladin? Well, I mean, that's like my. It's like,
I think it's like 39 or something, but I don't have all of them. That they're sporadic in the beginning, and then from 130 or something like that. I think I have almost everyone until the last.
awesome, dude. You got that nice double. One more month, Tom, and you got the helmet. You got the same the golden helmet. You got the crossed. I forget what they are. The crossed swords that are mithril, I think.
The thing is, I haven't looked at my physical ones because now I have all of them in PDFs. So that's where I read them on my tablet now, and they're sitting up on a shelf.
Yeah, I got two cheaters right next to me here, so yeah, sometimes you got to do that. So
I think there were dragon index.
There is.
Yeah.
there is for the first 100, or well, now
Yeah.
someone's done it for all of them. This
No,
is-
Yeah.
there's a complete dragon index. At,
I think there's a website that has a dragon index kind of thing.
yeah. Veolia.net has one. I have the link.
And there's also back in the day there was a set of CD-ROMs with the first 250.
Yeah.
That was and the funny thing was that when I got one of these sets, I actually got two. There was like 5 discs if I remember.
Coming on a second.
And I got 2. I didn't get disc number 5. I only got 2 disc number 4s instead of
Oh,
number
that
5.
stinks.
So, but when the internet came around, I was
I
vicious
gotta-
enough for it, so
gotta
I
grab
actually
that. One
torrented down the rest of them. So now I have all the PDFs from it anyways. And then the rest of them came on Wizard of the Coast website, the new Dragon, when they kind of afterwards.
Yeah, the Dragon Plus, I think they call it.
Yeah. Well, there was also the beginning that called it Dragon, I think, and they had it for free download, but it was not like the old Dragon, but they called it Dragon, and it was
Yeah.
that was for something like 50 or 30 issues or something like that when they took the license back from high school. Yeah, exactly, E-Dragon. Yeah, and then they called it the Dragon Plus, and but that's after.
I found it.
I'm gonna have to see if I got these all.
I was like, where the hell is this?
I can, yeah. What happened? What's up?
I found it. I was like,
Okay.
where is this?
Oh,
Oh.
there you go. There it
that's
is.
what I
Yeah.
got.
Well, I
I
was
think
like,
I
where
lost
is it?
the box is somewhere with the CD-ROMs. I'm not really sure where it is. I just put them in my
Don't worry.
Dropbox, so I have them. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jay K. Lord Gazumba. We got a fun one tonight. I'm gonna pop in one last thing there. I don't know if that'll work or not. So it's good to see everyone tonight. After I don't know, we had a little guest named Ed Greenwood on Sunday, so we'll see if we can top that. It's going to be difficult, but
That'll be tough.
we're going to
Yeah.
try. So tonight with me, of course, as usual,
No new deities. No new deities.
no
tonight.
deities tonight. Well, you never know. There'll be some deity discussion. I have a
Oh
feeling.
yeah, but no new ones.
I can invent a few new deities.
Oh
Yeah.
my!
like Ed did.
Yeah. But we don't have the gravitas to pull that off.
No, we don't have the hook spa that,
Yeah.
that Ed has.
Yeah.
So I got Greyhawk Mike Bridges with me. Mike's
Okay.
hanging in there. So if Mike has to depart, hopefully Mike hangs in there. Mike's not hanging in there as long
okay.
as he can.
I'm okay.
We got, of course, the great Anna Meyer and
Hello.
our special guest. He's in human form or not in soul form tonight. So we got Rich
Yes.
Diola.
Yeah.
Longitalis, you may know him as, or Lord Brezen. So we got a fun crowd tonight. So thank you all for coming on. People are still rolling in. Blue Box's game may run. They don't have a discussion going on tonight. It may run. He said John told me for another hour, so they'll get in when they get in here. I want to show something to everyone from Greyhawk Con. If you had a badge. Because we got into this in late, you should have gotten an email, a thank you email with Rich's postcard link a day or two ago, but this just went out to everyone, and that is there's an email for the download to the Virtual GrowlCon 2021 digital swag pack. All right, So the email's in there with the code and a link to this page and a thank you from Choller Games, and it comes with all the following. A primer with a coupon. I don't even see what the coupon is yet. I think I got to download it. The Adventure Wizard's Tower, a player's handbook, Monster and Treasures, Adventure Shadow of the Green Sky, and set of character sheets. So there you go. So oh, good. I showed it work well. Thank you. What is the coupon for? Let me know. So good to hear. Good to hear it works. So that's excellent. So just note if you had a registration for that, you were will this discussion include Adventures Coma 1 or 2? I think. Depending on who goes where. So I've done one of those on Gabbin before, and we may revisit that. Oh wow, another 25 off. All right, cool. Very, very cool, Sparky. So people are getting those already. So just note that that's there, courtesy of Choller Games, and they've always been a fantastic sponsor. But tonight, this is going to be cool, and I think this will lead to other shows. So Rich has your documents and charts are out of this world, and your attention to detail puts mine to shame, man. So tell everyone what you've done.
Well, first of all, I just want to say Ancient Gamer, Canadian Gamer is trying to give us really lousy alcohol this evening. He's throwing out the cheap stuff, but that's okay.
Setting up the giveaway too from CSL.
So what I've been doing is a few years ago, I started rereading all the Dragon magazines. And as I went through, I created an index. So I classified every article that was of interest by a specific category. Does it have Orth information on it? Does it have deities, new classes, new skills of monsters, equipment, skills, or whatever? So I've created this huge Excel sheet. I'm up to number 174 that I've reread. Anything that is not interesting for my campaign, I didn't index. So the Marvel files I didn't index, the cartoons, and the anything to do with like miniature painting or stuff like this. But the actual articles on lore, on ecology of monsters, new spells, new classes, stuff like this, I've indexed, and you can classify. So if you want to do a search by equipment and magic items, you could just search by that. Find every article that talked about magic items and equipment, for example. My sound is good, Jay?
It sounds great.
great.
It's just wow. That's a lot of, and you did it independent of the Dragon Index.
Yeah, so the Dragon Index just indexes everything as one big mass. Say, Dragon number 1 has these articles, Dragon 2 has these articles, that's it. Mine literally, you can filter it. So if you're interested in just the ecologies or the creature articles, I can filter right on that. And so you get all the articles that have to do with creatures. New creatures or ecology of the existing ones.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So
if anybody needs it, get on Cannon Fire, send me a quick note on Discord, and I'll get you a copy of it. It's a work in progress. As I read one, I augment my index.
As usual, your organizational skills amazes me.
Absolutely. And I think that, I was looking to do one of these all along because on Gabbins, we've done a lot of things that relate to Dragon, because I was so reliant on Dragon when I was younger, because what did you have? A player's handbook. Arthur Canaan's not out yet. And you had a lot of great articles.
Yeah.
It had some cool stuff, and they're like, oh, wow, this is a great idea, and it just wasn't anywhere else. Mm-hmm. So, that made it special, and I want to share some of the ones, and we'll bounce around between people on some ideas on articles, and some really momentous things, and some of them you can find them in other places. So I'm going to cheat, so I don't have all mine. A lot of the articles I'm going to connect are in these two public,
okay.
These two right here. So especially 3, as you know, everyone. When we get to 7,000, another one I give away. So a Best of Dragon Volume 3 all the way through to 10,000. So I got 4 more to give away. So already given away 6. No, sorry, to 1,000. Yeah, 6. I've given away 6 of them so far. Oh, you got 5 and 4. Oh, cool, very cool.
Yeah, I gotta see which ones I have. I don't even remember.
And I don't know what year this came out.
I was gonna say you know them from the covers or the color. I didn't know which ones I had.
Yep, you got 5 and 4, definitely. I don't know what year this thing came out, but this was cool, you know. And if you can find, I mean, it's almost impossible to find an original of this now. But once in a blue moon, they go up on eBay for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But this was like cutting edge technology back then. Oh wow, they're all on.
Yeah.
They're all on
like
CDs.
97, 96, 97. Or
Yeah, it was
like
around that time. 250 first
Late
250
90s,
issues.
yeah.
Yes.
I even saw the original box.
Well, yeah,
Yes,
it's
yeah,
sitting
that's-
somewhere.
Oh, you got
but
the original box too. That's cool.
There was a time if my house caught on fire, I would probably grab this. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, there
yeah,
you
that
go.
one I got lost
Yeah,
in it, but
nice.
it was a
And
fantastic product when
it's
it
in
came out.
pristine shape, pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow.
So real collector, I'll go look for that. I should
Yeah.
go look for that box only on eBay or
Mhm.
something somewhere. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. That's one I don't have because you're like when you're younger, you're like who needs boxes? You know,
Yeah.
that's why some of my box sets got beat up. So I want to start with I'm going to go back real early, and I want to start with something that I got the wrong one up now, but that's okay. But I used something just recently from Dragon 17. So let me put this up here and flip
It's a long
over.
time ago.
But it's a long time ago. I used it during GaryCon.
Oh, the joust.
The
Oh,
jousting rules, right? That's
right.
yes.
I need to write that down. I
Yes.
meant to look that issue
Now,
up.
I made a lot of changes to this, but we used the location, we used the aiming, we used the cross-reference chart. I used a lot of this. I added saving throws in, but 63 was your first, Patrick. Mine was 61. We're real close. So I had some backtracking to do. Yeah, so I did a lot of backtracking when I was younger. Oh, thank you, Stefan. So here is it's from Dragon 17, it's Chainmail rules, and that is where, it's a one-page down article, and that's exactly where I got all the information I needed for the joust. So that's probably the earliest one I'll discuss. Now, I think Leonard had article in 3, and he had a lot of stuff. The earlier articles are a lot of theoretical discussion. You know, it's a lot. It's really long-winded, but it's probably some in-depth things. There's Josh. How you doing, Josh?
Because the game was still new back then.
It was still new, and yeah. So, but this is my first one that I want to discuss is number 17. That's as early as I go on really hardcore use in my campaign would be that one. So, how early is anyone else? I want to ask that question between the three of you.
22.
Oh,
First one I have. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, the earliest one you have, or the earliest one that I've used?
No, that I have an article from, so to speak.
Yeah,
that
to
I-
discuss.
Yeah. mhm.
What
Yeah.
is it, Anna?
The nomenclature of pole arms.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, that's a good
But
one.
yeah, it was kind of interesting because you had all these kind of weird pole arms that no one knew unless you're Tim or kind of a professor
Sure,
of medieval
Tim.
weapons. Then you might know what it is, and I guess I should know, but because where I used to work, we actually had a whole hallway full of these old medieval weaponry everywhere. So if there was anyone who should know, it was me, because I actually saw them every day. But that problem was that the titles and stuff, little plaques, were in Swedish. So it was kind of, so when I saw this article, when I started rereading the magazines like a year ago,
Hey, really?
that's when I found that one, and I realized that was a good one, that you can figure out what a spatum is, or what's the difference between a pike and a spear and stuff like that. So it was one of these inspiration. I'm going to see if because now I'm running 5e, so I think that article is good, because I don't want to be as anal about it as first edition, but
Right.
I want to be a little bit more in depth than 5th edition with it, and
agree.
introduce a few of the variations and stuff. So I think this article is a good starting point for that work.
Do you know where that article exists?
Yeah, it's
No. But besides that, besides Dungeon 22, Dragon 22.
it's the Best of Dragon somewhere, I bet. No. Oh, it's an Earth. Okay, see, there you
Yeah.
go.
There you go.
Yeah,
The
mhm.
nomenclature
Yeah.
of pole arms is right there.
Okay, there you see.
All
See,
right.
I haven't read Unearthed Arcana in probably 20 years.
Yeah,
so,
page.
so
It's in the appendix T, page 123.
yeah, I haven't read
So-
Unearthed Arcana since I started playing like second edition, so it's probably 25 years at
And
least.
as you can see,
Yeah.
it's got
Yeah. There you
yeah.
go.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
Now I know where to look, so I'm going to put that in here, Unearthed Arcana.
yeah, absolutely.
Good
And
illustration.
we love polar. I mean, so as Bill, everyone knows, Bill created an entire class, the Saxon/Foot Knight, based on polearm two-handed sword use, two-handed weapon use. As you can see and during the Greyhawk, you saw how nasty they were, nasty characters with the damage they do in our game. But yeah, I love the variety of weaponry in the game. I think it really adds flavor to the game. We've added the Dacian Falcons, a lot of other weapons in that I think are cool, and I don't want to see a sword and a mace. I want to go beyond that sometimes, And is there a real, like, I don't know 5e, and I'm not bashing it, but is there a real advantage to using a halberd at all in 5e?
Not much. The problem is that there's certain editions that have more kind of bells and whistles on
Right.
weaponry than others, and third edition and PF1 and PF2 are the ones that I
okay.
played. They have way more cool mechanics. PF2 was fantastic in lots of added kind of cool things that weapon can do. Weapons can use.
5e polearms are pretty much all homogenized.
Yeah,
You got
they
one, you got
kind
them
of
all.
dumb down
It's
those
just polearm
rules to make it
mastery.
easy to
Okay.
learn and
I think you have your
run
halberds.
fast.
Yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
halberds and pikes, and that's
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, they
Longer
remove
reach,
up
the
the
reach weapons in the game.
Yep.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
don't.
so
we
the
never use
best
reach.
edition set of rules I played with when it comes, it's actually Pathfinder 2 has some awesome things, and it's not per weapon, it's that they have like a whole list of different things different weapons can do, so you can kind of figure out that you have a certain polearm should have these kind of effects, so to speak, and it's all sorts of things from, like, if you score a crit, you can go straight through it and get the next guy, and all sorts of cool things, so to speak, that are mechanics, so to speak. So that I think is the way to handle something, and I want to add some additional rules to 5e, my 5e game, to have some cool weapon effects, so to speak.
So real quick,
Yep.
the polearm issue was in 20 something.
22.
Early on in Dragon.
Yeah.
22.
Without me grabbing it off my shelf, does that mean there was no polearms in early AD&D?
Yeah, there was a
yeah.
Lucerne
There
hammer.
was.
Remember in Basic?
Yeah.
We didn't.
Okay.
We were so dumb back then as kids. We had clerks using Lucerne hammers because it's a hammer. It's going to be blunt.
Exactly. That was the point of this article, was to explain what it actually
Yes.
was. They had in Dragon Mirrors, they had one of these little comic strips saying that damn, I didn't know that this was actually whatever, and it was like polearm school #1 or something like that. One guy was, and a poor fighter was like, oh, I've been walking around, I didn't know that it was this big, and so that was kind of a joke in a way.
Yeah, definitely. So good one, Anna. Rich and Mike got any early first 30s, first 40s. Rich is all over the place. Rich is like, I did compilations.
I'm that's what I was about to say. Like, regardless of what edition you're playing, or even if you're not even playing D&D, there's so many cool articles in there that you can read even today.
Yes.
And incorporate into your game. And that's what I loved about it. Like, there's actually one interesting one. Is if you want to know the origins of D&D by Gary Gygax, there's an article on that in number 6.
Dragon 6. Okay.
7.
Dragon 7.
Little stuff like that. Little tidbits that are just sprinkled throughout the Dragon magazines,
Right. And the good thing is that if you don't want to come get all the dragons, you have a shot at getting, there's 5 best of the dragons. Getting them will really, that alone would help you out, and they're still affordable. These are not like $50 in price right now, so you could get a lot of these best of the dragons, and that would that would help out. So good one though. I didn't know. So who wrote that article? Was it Gary himself, or was it
Gary? Yeah,
Okay.
by Gary.
Very cool. Hey, Big
So
Jim,
is it-
what's up?
He goes back to that a few times, and
Yeah.
why D&D instead of D&D, and all sorts of stuff like this throughout the dragons.
Awesome. Very cool. Mike, you haven't given us one yet before we start getting.
Yeah,
deep.
so I was going to say that I think I had seen scattered issues starting in the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
But I didn't have a subscription until about 83. And then from 83 on, I had them all the way through 4th edition, even.
Nice.
The electronic ones.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny, and also having the CD-ROM set, whenever I had this like big stack of Dragon magazines and everything, I ended up getting rid of a bunch of them.
Wow.
I just dropped them off the library. Heck with it. I cherry-picked the ones that had Greyhawk content. And I kept all my old dragons that I think were from like 150 and earlier that I had gone back and collected. So clearly I like the old school, 1E, 2E era. 3rd edition stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I understand that. For me, it's 1E, 2E era. Everyone's got their eras, right? So that's
right.
But I mean, there's a lot of great stuff, and all those spells, those name spells that you show in later editions, are fantastic.
But I think the change in technology.
Yeah. All right.
I didn't need to have that.
So, let me hop back to another one I got linked here, and that is, of course, this is when. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. This is when things all of a sudden got spookily cool. All right, my opinion. And that is, of course, Anna said it too, Dragon 39. Okay, because in Dragon 39, someone comes up with the idea, well, they're paladins. Why can't there be, that's page 8, I already pre-checked this. Why can't there be, look at that, oh, look at this, the ad for the World of Greyhawk Fantasy settings in there. Woo! Oh my gosh. Good got you down, try this for evil. The anti-paladin shows up article. And who has not used an anti-paladin in their campaign? If you haven't, you're lying to me. Because anti-paladins, they're not Death Knights, right? They're wonderfully evil.
The champions of evil rather than good. So yeah.
Yes, and they're so Snively Whiplash-like, as we know. They can backstab, and they're the artists of poison. Yeah, the image in this is amazing too. I admit it's definitely. It's a mix of looking like the Lord of the Nazgul and a cowboy with the spikes at the bottom here, right? So it's like it's a great image and a great article. And thank you, Patrick. Thank you for doing that, the Card Man. So I love this. I think this one appears in Best of the Dragon Volume 2, if I recall correctly, the Anti-Paladin. And to this day, we still use them. I throw them out once in a blue moon when I really want to trick someone. I did that on one of my Saturday night specials. I had that Anti-Paladin, and no one was ready for it. I love the Anti-Paladin. Rich, I know you run your own kind of game, but do you have like an Anti-Paladin type in your game?
Well, actually, going back to what guy in chat was saying, Gridley, about how anti-paladins are just paladins and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I actually don't use paladins. I use holy warriors. Okay. So you're a holy warrior of a specific god. So if you're a holy warrior of a thieving, sneaky god like Cyril or something, that would be considered an anti-paladin. But you're still a holy warrior of that god. So I don't have alignment, so you could be a holy warrior of any god, and some of them react and behave like the anti-paladin would.
Yeah, that's very much the same type of concept that Pathfinder 2 has with champions. You could be a champion of whatever religion or god you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like for example, a holy warrior of Hextor and a holy warrior of Cyril, they would both be considered evil paladin-like anti-paladins, but they behave completely different.
Yeah. I like
Cyril
that
and
concept.
Hextor are not, they're paladins. One would be a little bit more sneaky, backstabby, thiefy, poison, and the other guy would be a little bit more honorable, but still evil, right?
So the direction I went with that is the Eric Boyd Crusader fills that role for me, because you can have they're almost specialty priests, but they're warriors. They fight on the fighter table, so that's kind of cool. That everyone has their little nuances that make their game that gives it their own game flavor and makes it much more rich. So thanks again, Patrick, for doing that for my buddy Mario. Yes, Mario Jr., the iron pumping god. So
Like if you want an article that is game system agnostic, you got the Politics of Hell.
which
Right.
dragon?
That was in 28, and then I
That
came
was
back
my
again.
next article.
Oh, is
lined
it?
up.
Okay.
Yes.
And that is also
that-
in Best of the Dragon Volume 2. I don't think I have a lot of the early ones. I don't even have in PDF on here. So if I had it, I would open it up. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
so that's
have.
number
Oh wait,
28.
Best of Dragon Volume 2, I believe. Let me see if this works.
You should copy it out of your CD-ROMs. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
Yeah,
those
I
things are
put- I
so
got it
slow.
off.
It's so much.
I actually
easier.
took all of them out of my CD-ROM. I put them
Yeah,
on a
me
hard
too. And
drive
put them in.
as
They're
PDFs.
in my Dropbox folder now.
Anti-Paladin's in here.
Yeah.
Here's the Anti-Paladin. I could have sworn Politics of Hell was in this one. Maybe it's in the first art. Maybe it's in Best of Dragon Volume 1.
Might
It
be in
would
volume
probably
1.
be because it
Yeah,
was
it's so
number
early,
28,
so
right?
yeah.
Let me check that. It may be in Volume
So,
1. There it
I'm
is. No, here it
confused.
is. Here it is, page 68. I found it.
So that's the kind of thing that regardless of what edition you're running,
Yep.
you can
There
have
we go.
fun with this. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
There you go.
Politics of Hell.
And it's
Is-
so yeah. Sorry.
Who wrote that?
Alexander von
Alexander-
Thorn.
Yep.
Yep.
It might be a pseudonym because they have a huge disclaimer in the beginning of it saying this is not official and we're not supporting it. We
Yeah,
just
look at that.
it's compatible and whatever. So just like the one they now put on old products. So
Because
And-
the
but it-
Politics of Hell gets covered again.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
something
it's,
that gets
uh,
covered over and over again. But
Yeah,
this
it's
one
over
is
and over.
cool.
There was
Yeah,
a two-parter in
Yeah.
the much later ones.
yeah, it's a two-part. But this one,
Uh,
first one is cool for a couple of reasons, I think. First one, because it is the first one. And also because there is none of this religious craziness and stuff like that
Oh.
against D&D. This is
Right.
before all that. So they really went complete bonkers into it, so to speak. There is no hold bar. They call it Satan and then all the meaning there's no this is going for whole hog
So it's
down
not
into it, so to speak.
D&D hell.
Exactly, it's not D&D
Christian
hell. It's kind of it's traditional hell, and
Yeah.
and because the fantasy hell is not really invented yet. This is so early, so it's like, okay,
I
what would
see.
hell be in real hell be in D&D terms, so to speak, and D&D mechanics, and that is interesting. I don't run my hell like this, but it's still an interesting article, more for like D&D archaeology purposes, so to speak.
Right.
And I love D&D archaeology just because it gives you inspiration, and it's always interesting to see where things come from. I love that. It's part of my understanding things. So
Right on.
the article Politics of Hell is very interesting from this perspective. So yeah.
And then the follow-on, Mike, getting back to yours, is number 75. I just looked it up. 75, 78, the 9 Hells, part 1 and 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
75, 76.
Yeah, and
And
I think
then-
Asmodeus, I don't think the name Asmodeus is barely
No.
they call him Satan or Lucifer or something
Yeah.
off the bat.
But then the
Asmodeus is-
9 Hells gets covered again in the 90s.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah,
like
it's been
almost
covered 3 or 4
2
times
years
over,
later.
and I think it's covered
Yeah.
again in the 200s or something. And Paizo did coverage of them again. So yeah,
The good thing about going all the way back here is you get the thought process of the original creators and a lot of the original content people.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about these really original old articles. You know, I think they're cleaned up and sanitized a little bit as you go. You know,
Yeah.
back here,
Oh, yeah.
you have to put these disclaimers in.
oh yeah,
Just talking about
definitely.
Satan falling from hell and everything, and
Yeah.
Asmodeus,
Mhm.
Asmodeus, or however you pronounce it, rising up just like in the Monster Manual. So and Beelzebub, you know, with Bozable, and so
And there's an article in there that is very dear to Anna's heart. Working your way up to first level, Anna.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, number 51. I thought of you when I read that. I'm like, oh, Anna would love this. You know, spend 5 months as a 0 level character.
Oh yeah, like you have
which
to, the first
where-
15
which,
sessions at least.
which dragon again?
51.
Oh, J.
It's more of an interesting one. I don't know if it would be.
I have
would be
50,
the best.
52, 53, 54, and 40. Oh my gosh, I don't have 51.
Yeah.
See, I'm
Yeah.
I'm slacking on my machine to quick up them. So yes, there is a 0 level adventure in the Free Secret box set, right? There's one there. There's 0 level play in Greyhawk Adventures as well, if I recall.
Mhm. Yeah.
And Anna takes it to a new level with 7 adventures.
Yeah, oh yeah, I introduced, like, it's almost like you have a bunch of negative levels you have to get your way through to get the first level. So yeah.
Crazy. So Mike, give me something, man. Give me something you want to talk about, because I know, in case
sure.
you...
Well, going back to the Nine Hills issues, so in issue 91, so I'm going to go a little further down the line from you guys. There was one of those.
You're such a youngin, Mike. You're such a youngin going with the later.
91. Another one I don't have.
91. Well, no, I'm just going with my
on my
stuff here. And that same issue was Treasure Trove.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And this is another thing that kind of hooked me in Dragon Magazine, was like, oh man, all these the middle inserts. Like, oh, all these free magic items that.
Yeah.
And I wager a lot of these are never seen again after Dragon Magazine.
So who wrote that?
Looks like it's various authors.
Okay.
Every item has a different author.
Nice. Anyone we
But
know?
I do see some Roger Moores in here.
Okay.
Roger Moores.
So he's writing at that time. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Doc Shoulder asked, can you discuss the Lost Handbook?
Well,
is it lost? Which I'm sorry, Doc. Even as old schooler like me, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, me neither.
I know about the Adventure Wheel, which was in the Dragon, right? That's so valuable. I remember that. Oh, it's a fan made. It's a scam.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason says it's a scam. Isn't that the one that looks like the Player's Handbook or the Dungeoneer Survival Guide? It's got the orange binder on it. Yeah. So, does he really? That's interesting. Very cool. Well, that's a good one, Mike. I don't think I've ever looked at that one. So
really?
I don't think so.
To close out that thought process, issue 99 has Treasure Trove too.
Okay.
And you see, I don't think then after like that 100 mark, I don't think they put out a whole lot of these inserts. I actually kept these. I used to cut a lot of the pages out of my Dragon Magazine and would punch holes in them and make binders.
Wow.
And those things, of course, are all trashed, right? Yeah. But I still have these inserts in good condition, so that says something.
Awesome.
No.
Thank you there, Biggie. So there is one thing interesting, Jay, that I noticed from reading the old ones. We always get these alignment discussions on Discord, even now. If you go through the older dragons, every few Dragon magazines, you're going to have an article on alignment, discussion on alignment, how to play alignment, what alignment means, how your character should react based on their alignment. So it's been coming back for the last, this was 82 or whatever it was. So it's been coming back for the last 40 years on this discussion on alignments over and over again. So we're not going to solve it today, just like they weren't able to solve the last 40 years. But
do you have a key Dragon Magazine article number or
it's there everywhere.
They're everywhere on alignment.
Oh yeah.
So you all know I'm a big proponent of alignment, but that's because of the era I play in 1E, 2E, and a lot of people aren't, but that's great. I mean, you play your game however you want, but just I think alignment.
I'm between you, Rich and Jay. I want alignment to be part of it, but I want to tone down the mechanical aspects of it and kind of subdue it a little bit, especially the law chaos thing. I think it's a bit superfluous.
I'm sure there's an article in there that agrees with you, Anna.
Oh yeah, since there's so many alignment articles that whatever your stance on alignment, there is at least one article that is for you.
That backs you up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. If I'm making faces, it's because my arms all gimped up.
What have you done?
Blood draw.
Oh, you've been to the vampire or something. Yep.
Yes.
You will be an animus soon. So.
Oh no! Don't say. Oh man, that's a curse and a half. So everyone knows in the Player's Handbook, monks sucked.
Yep, we make fun of it.
Yes, until Dragon 53 came out. Dragon 53 also has one of the. It's not risque, I don't think, but it's just such a cool looking cover, right? It's just whatever the monk is, whatever she's doing. I guess mesmerizing or whatever the dragon. I don't know how that's possible. I believe it's a black dragon. It's just a neat looking cover. But this had some great ideas in it on what to do with monks. It also has an adventure in it called the Garden of Neferon, and
Yeah.
that was, I believe, an evil adventure, if I recall correctly. Am I remembering this correctly, everyone? This is an evil character adventure and won at first place in a contest. So yeah, monk killed a giant slug with one punch. I think monks have a place. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I as a rare character, more of as a character that is, using its body as weaponry. The traditional,
But
whether that's
But the game mechanics for first edition had lousy monks.
they do.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
They do
Yeah.
have lousy.
But I mean, the concept of a monk could be a lot of fun. So in my game system, the monk is pretty tough.
I get
That's-
that weird thing. I know why that didn't make it into a Monster Manual 2. Holy jeez, Oculon.
Yeah, the new level up rules that is being kickstarted by Ian World right now, they have a new take on the monk. They call it the adept, and it's they're taking away the Asian flavor, and it's simply the class for anyone who wants to use melee combat or without using weapons, so to speak, and from the brawler to whatever. And they have a bunch of subclasses, and the Asian monk is one, and there's different versions. And I really like that take on it, so to speak. So you can make different types of monk creatures for different cultures and stuff like that, for different fighting styles and traditions. And that is something I've been missing, because I think the monk has been too single-minded or single style, so to speak, single dimension. I want to have like the brawler, the whatever. You can have like there's a lot of different cool themes you can have.
Well, one of the earlier dragons has brawling rules.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would be cool to have characters that are specialized in martial fighting styles that don't use weapons per se that much.
And that's a good, Rich. That's a good point, because the players' the original, what are they in the Dungeon Master's Guide are terrible. The grappling and pummeling. And
But that has been a problem for almost every edition. Have had issues with it.
Yeah.
And remember, third edition have issues with it. Then Pathfinder came around and cleaned it up a little bit. I don't know how fourth edition did with it, and I haven't really studied that much the fifth edition rules on it. So, but it seems like combat without weapons is one of these touchy things in D&D.
It can be, and just I thought that the Dragon 53 article cleaned it up enough that you could utilize it. We don't use everything in here. We went with die 4 plus 1 hit points to die 6, but we made some changes. I mean, we have monks using weaponry, absolutely, in our game. So in fact, if you saw a couple Thursdays ago, last Thursday, Tim played his character Bruce, who came in and was a monk character. So we actually had a monk playing last week. So monks in 4th could heal, cast spells, and use martial weapons. Isn't that every character in 4th edition, Patrick, could do that?
I think so.
All the same. We're all the same character in 4th edition.
Yeah, they were all World of Warcraft characters.
Agrees with me on Pathfinder.
The dirty secret, though, is 5th edition is practically 4th edition. A lot of the classes can heal too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's spell versions of it.
It's like they removed clerics from the game almost as far as healing factories, which is a good thing. But they have their place in there. So the launch before you had something about the grappling.
Now, of course, the best articles are for 86, 87, 88, 89.
It's got to be Gods of the Soul.
That's right.
You
knew I had to slip that in.
I have one before
I had to slip that in.
Yeah.
You know?
We will.
Otherwise,
we go ahead too much. Yeah. Sorry.
Because I had to, because my roommate, Mr. Breslin over here, would get mad at me if I didn't.
Oh yes.
We will honor Len accordingly shortly. But Anna says, what did you say?
Yeah, I have one old one that before we go too far ahead, I want to go back to issue 32, because there's one article that I think is interesting, and I love these kind of background articles and stuff. And one that is Druid in Fact and Fantasy from issue 32 is very interesting. interesting
yeah.
because it takes
Cyborg.
it talks about the Celtic druids and stuff
yeah.
like that, the background to the druid class, and I think that's really cool, especially if you want to go a deep dive into and flesh out the old faith and stuff. It's cool to
Yeah.
read stuff like that from a D&D perspective, and then cherry pick the stuff you want.
Who wrote that article, Anna?
That is William Fawcett. I think he wrote several of these kind of deep analytical articles in the earlier. I think I recognize his name from doing it. So it's kind of cool. So he ties it into the real world druids and bards from the Celtic world.
Whew, look at that, Patrick. Yeah, you should be getting close to that next one, or not. I mean, it's just insane how many of those cheer things he has. All right, so let's do this. Let's honor Len, because I'm going to honor Len, of course, too.
Yep.
But which was the 80? What was it? The first one?
86 on. But I mean, if you want to honor Len's got the Leomund's tiny hut throughout most of the dragons, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And we had a Len article
everywhere.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't have. So I'm gonna pop to. Is Len's in here on 89? Yes.
Yeah, it's 86.
All right, there you go.
Yeah,
one of them. Here's 89. So we got Pyremius, Beltar, and Lurg in this one.
Mm.
And Lurg is, of course, his deity's name was Grell. We heard that story, and they said, "We have a monster named Grell." He said, "Well, just flip it around." And that's how we got.
Well, Noribo did the same, right? Noribo was originally Oberon.
Yep, absolutely. He said, you shouldn't use that. It's from
It's a dwarf, right? Yeah. So they swapped. They turned Oberon backwards.
So, and we all miss Leonard a lot. You know, Leonard was wonderful with what he did, and this is this is a great deity, Beltar, with the goddess basically of beholders and awful cave dwelling creatures. Lurg was cool too. Lurg's like a more primitive chord version, you know. So Len had a good mix of good and evil in his Sul deities, and I mean, these to this day are used extensively in by WotC, right? So Len's got his place here with the deities. He had a home run with all of them. Too bad it had to be Solar Mate. Wow, you guys are rough, man. Jeez.
I don't know why they're picking on the Sul. I wonder what could be attracting that kind of hate.
I don't know why they would do that to you. I mean, you're such a great guy here there on that. So let's go to this too. This should be I think
I'm just going to put it aside there, Jay. So a few weeks ago, we were talking about alignment, tongues, and languages, and what it is and whatnot. And it devolved into language in general. But Dragon 66 had a lot of stuff on language. It had Thieves' Cant, language rules, learning new languages, Dwarvish languages. I think it was Catherine Kerr or something wrote a lot about languages, how to pronounce things, and how to create languages. And so there's a lot of Dragon magazines on languages, just in general.
Cool. So 66 was a good one. Catherine Kerr, languages.
I think it was Catherine Kerr wrote those or some of those.
I always found it really cool, and I guess it went into the Gord books that Beggar's Cant was separate from Thieves' Cant, which I found neat.
They had Merchant's Cant too in the Gord books. That was slightly different too.
I also loved Undercommon was a separate language too.
Mm-hmm.
That was neat. The Cant, Silent Tongue. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And Keolandish and Volandi and Fruz and I think there should be more dialects actually.
Oh yeah,
Greyhawk.
Definitely. Yeah,
I think there should be, but
and speaking of Gord the Rogue, Dragons 100, I believe, had a poster of Sagavolt City in it.
Yeah,
of the book. Big.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a harder cover, if I recall. It had the purple dragon on the cover. It was white, all white, but with a purple dragon on the cover.
Yeah.
Do I not have? Man, it must be. Oh, here we go. There it is. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was embossed, right? If I remember correctly.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. It was
very neat one. And there's a lot of really cool.
I have it sitting up here somewhere, but I should have taken them down and.
So as you can see, I went right to an Ed Greenwood article in here.
Oh yeah.
Pages from
Ed
the
wrote
mages.
a lot.
Ed wrote a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of these spells, I like Blade Thirst, Merald's Murdering Mist, are in my game. Just compiled because there was no great what do you call it? The books, the 4 compendiums. The Wizard Spell compendiums didn't exist at this point yet. So you had to get the article magazine, go through and see spells that worked for you. And some of them, a lot of them don't. I mean, a lot of them, but for me, but a lot of them do. So you just had to find the right ones, and that was neat.
There's a lot of spells and monsters. That's one thing that spells and monsters were one of probably the biggest chunk of the magazines.
Yes,
you can never have too many monsters or spells, so you can always make more.
Yeah.
Yes. Dragon chess. Now this isn't the chess I use. I use the original chess rules that are in an earlier one. But yeah, this actually shows setups and actually to play it.
Has anyone actually tried Dragon chess?
I guarantee you the Katano has. Yeah.
I thought I remember seeing somewhere where there's an online game to play Dragon chess. I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Thank you for that.
Is that the version that is in the Gourd books, or is that a special one?
Yeah,
it started in the Gourd books. Yeah.
Yeah, because there is a chess
so
version in the Gourd books. So that's that one. Then.
Yeah. So very cool on that. Here's okay. Frank Menser, the Ranger Druid. How the hell do you have that? The alignments don't match, right? So we had a discussion in a long time, and this is where the good tendencies, evil tendencies, or whatever started coming out, and we have Druid Rangers in our game because of that. So this is before we allowed Druids to either be neutral good or neutral evil when the Avenger class came out and all. But this was the first time it got discussed because Frank Spencer says, "Well, this is an Arch Arcana, or what about the Druid Ranger? It just doesn't. You can't do it with the alignment crossover." And so that's a good article right there where Frank discusses it. I would love to get him on, but I don't know if we should go there. So with Frank, that would be a good person to have a discussion with.
This is why I don't use alignment in my game, because I don't like being restricted in combinations just because of alignment. I never like that.
Yeah, it should not be that arbitrary, just mechanical. It should be more. Yeah. I'm with you, Rich, on that one.
Yeah, but I agree that we've extended now that neutral good, neutral, and neutral evil for druids. So
but why can't you have a lawful good druid? Why not?
I mean, exactly. I see a lot of druids as very good and good-hearted, meaning that I
don't want to get into alignment discussion, but all I'm saying is that
should be
because a man's got to know his limitations, and I'm going to say that because limitations are good to have a rule setting so that you're not going haywire with the game. That's just my opinion. That would be the reason why. I don't want to have all alignments for all classes. Why can't you, and that's just personal. But
that's personal. But like I always said, right? Make Greyhawk your own. If you want to
absolutely.
And it's also both game style and what role you want game mechanics to play in your game. That differs a lot. And that's part of the strength of the hobby is that you can play it different ways.
Absolutely. And that's the absolute wonderful thing about whoops, that was me switching up what do you call it, screens here to get to things. I can't find what I was looking for. Maybe I put down the wrong number. So let me check.
Can I promote a short little article again from Dragon 39? Not the anti-paladin. There is one little cool thing in the Bazaar of the Bazaar of the Bizarre.
Yep.
There is one Cloud Castles, and I just couldn't resist that one because it's so cool. It's by Roger E. Moore. I think it's one.
Wow, that's early for Roger Moore. Wow.
Exactly. I think it's one of the first ones. It's on page 41.
41. Okay.
Yeah, so it's Cloud
Bizarre
Castles.
The Bizarre.
It's a short one-page article of that brings
delving deep here.
Cloud Castles, and I thought it was cool. So who doesn't love a cloud castle
there you go.
now and then? Yep. So
look, Ed Greenway, Greenstone Amulet. Jeez, Ed.
Yep. That's also early.
He was hungry for money. Yeah. He was getting paid by the word. So
my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun. It talks a little bit what it takes to create a cloud castle and maintain it and stuff, and who can do
Dirty
it.
Dirty Harry there, Jason.
So how do cloud giants make them?
Yeah, you
It says
use,
right here. It tells you.
Yeah,
At high
throw
level,
a wall of force and permanency and
And
a
air
wish
elemental.
and it's a
And
recipe
cloud vents can
for
cast
to
all that?
create your real estate in the clouds. Yep.
There are high level spells that come out for elementalists and editions that allow you to do this stuff, where
Yep.
you can take stuff to elemental planes too. It's a 9th level spell.
Yep.
So outside of
Air
that,
specialist. So yep.
all right. I
There's
know
number
Koma
55.
asked.
There's number 55, right? More Meat for Greyhawk by Gary Gygax.
More meat for Greyhawk. I will do
Oh,
that one
wow.
in a second. I'll go back to that. So 78. Here's an adventure. Probably my favorite of all time out of Dragons that we've used multiple times, and that was Citadel by the Sea. Okay,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, and that is page
Never ran
41.
that.
So this is on my one of the 4 dragon / dun, that are on my wall of fame as far as adventures go. It's very entry level. It's got a really nasty weapon called Alkarg. There it is, Alkarg the Elf Slayer. So there you go. That's a fantastic adventure. Dungeon may be out at this time too. It's close. It's 78, but they're having a design contest, so that's a really good one. Take a look at that, Koma and whoever else asked on adventures. That's
one thing to mention, right? Before Dungeon came out, there were modules in the Dragon magazines.
Yep.
So yeah.
So we have.
Again, that's one reason I got a subscription. And when they stopped
David?
putting them in there, then I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. So the ones that are on my wall of fame is this Sword of Justice, which is actually a basic D&D adventure, and the Twofold Talisman, the Heart of Stone, the Ebonstone Heart of Light. They're both 1 and 2, one right behind each other. Those are the 4, but there's a ton of them. I do have an old Gabbin where I go over a lot of these. We go over ones from White Dwarf as well. So yeah, that can be found too. So
I think Twofold Talisman was the first one I ever ran, but I ran part 2 and didn't run part 1.
really, because there was a lot of jokes in there. A lot of jokes in that adventure, both of them, which that's why I kind of liked it. It was kind of campy. Yeah. Fedefensor, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the one with Githyanki Fortress, right? Oh, yeah. That was, of course. So, Richard, telling all the I don't have 55 on here. Oh, I can't go to it. I got 50,
So
53,
55
56.
was, yeah, I can go to it. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, you can't share. If you share your screen, you'll crash the stream.
It's by Gary Gygax, More Meat for Greyhawk. He talks about Greyhawk generally, but he focuses on the human race, different human races. And like, for example, I'm just going to throw this out there. He talks about the Sul. And he mentions that the Frost, Ice, and Snow Barbarians are a perfect specimen of unmixed Sulwaz blood. So it's obvious that they're Sul up in that peninsula and not from Fireland. Just throwing that out there. But, yeah. So this is the kind of stuff, if you mine it, you can find a lot of Greyhawk stuff in there.
Yeah, I wish I had all of them in PDF, but I only have ones I utilize and cut and paste, and I know we're going to bounce around here, so I didn't excuse me, get all 100 on my machine. So how long is that article? A couple pages?
2 pages.
A lot of them were like that, short and sweet. But remember, the print was small on those back then too. On those, print was very small. So Anna.
Yeah, I have one that I couldn't resist, and I'm still in issue 47. Okay. There is an article of creatures from elsewhere, and they have a monster that is the map maker, and I just couldn't resist that one. And it's kind of funny in a way. The map makers, they come from the plane of Pandemonium, which seems to be very weird. And what they love to do is steal the maps from parties, so their parties get lost, and they get psychic effects and all that. And they are chaotic, tends towards evil, and they look kind of nasty. and yeah, so it's kind of, yeah, it's not really, I don't know how much
never heard
it's
of it.
just a joke. No, me neither, but when I read it, I was like, okay. So it's kind of funny. It looks ugly like crazy, and yeah, some sort of lizard like weasel kind of creature. Yep.
So Mike, what do you got? I'm looking for something here. I can't find.
Well, I'm glad Rich and Anna are on point, because I have nothing that's probably earlier than issue 64.
That's okay.
But I quickly want to go and talk about one of my favorite cover artists,
Okay.
which is Dennis. Let's see, would that be Bouveau? The chess.
There's multiple chess covers.
83, 89. What else I got here? 92 in Gygax magazine.
All right, let me see.
The old chess
yeah,
covers.
they're really cool. Let me see if I can. I gotta have one of them. 83, 89.
I like the one where,
I got 89.
I think the White King's kicking the Black King or something. That was the nice one. I like that one.
Here's the one with the brain playing.
Yeah, with the brain.
Playing
Back then, the covers sometimes were. I'd look at those covers as much as the contents. You know.
Yeah, it was a cool series.
Cover, but Dragon was really good at it.
Who did the artwork again?
Dennis Bouveau.
Okay.
Something like that.
Boy, it brings me back some World of Warcraft memories too, from the stupid chessboard in Karazhan. So the covers were awesome back then. Absolutely, they were wonderful. Really, just fantastic in their the artwork, and they had to have taken time.
Yes.
I mean,
there's
a signature right there.
Bouvis.
Beauvoir, Bevis,
Well, how do you spell it?
Beavis.
It's in chat.
Yeah. 29 new monsters in this one. So just go hop on.
Yeah, so that cover, that issue in particular is probably one of the better ones. It also has Sul Gods in it. We already discussed.
Yep.
Or maybe no, it was 92. The 92 chest cover is the one with Sword of Justice.
Sword of Justice is in 92. Okay.
And then it has Lydia, Jazzcar, and
I think I got
Braum,
92
I think.
I may have 92, 90, 94. Yeah, I do. 90. That's 92.
Oh, okay. Well, not just the chess covers, but that's still his artwork.
This one's a good one. It has Ecology of the Edson in it, which is cool. And here's a Sword of Justice. This is a basic D&D, but you can change it pretty easily. A really good adventure in that one. Pages from the Mages 3 by Ed Greenwood. More spells by Ed. Jeez.
Pages from the Mages. He did like bunches of
unbelievable
articles.
How many of them. So there's Jaskar, Braum, Lydia. For great Len Lakofka Sul deities in this one as well. So,
and one interesting thing they used to do for people who aren't familiar with the Dragon is every April you have an April joke issue. So every April for April Fools, they'd have a whole magazine with a couple of joke articles in it, just you know. So they'd have like, you know, what would Bugs Bunny's stats be? You know, ridiculous modules for you to play. And stuff like that.
That's an interesting point there, Rich. I don't know if this is the case on my favorite of all time. Let me check that.
Yes, stupid spells and silly things, silly magic items, and stuff like that.
I
think that was a recurring feature every year. I think in
April.
April,
it was.
This is April. Okay, so here, April of '82, Dragon 60.
But there were some serious articles in them too.
Yeah,
so,
but there'd be a lot of ridiculous ones, like Norgard or whatever it was.
That's true.
Yeah.
This one has the content in this dragon is unbelievable. So first of all, we have the elven point of view.
Yeah, that's all the elf stuff. Yeah.
Now, here's a little oversight. I think you have in The Best of Dragon Volume 3, you have the elven point of view. There's a little sub-article that's not in there that's in here, and that is this one. the half-elven point of view. This does not appear in Best of the Dragon Volume 3, and I wish he had put this in here, but this is a great little discussion on half-elves, and it really has a feel to it it has a real Greyhawk feel in the discussion that Roger Moore puts into this, so I recommend reading that. Also, one of my favorites of all time is the well, maybe not, but I use the Jester, believe it or not. It's a little bit more developed, but the Jester NPC's in here. Another Roger Moore-ism. What a dumb class, but I have fun with that. Diarmid's Last Jest, which is on 2 separate pages, which is annoys me at the end of the Jester article. This Bard ability. Oh, geez, there goes that stupid phone again. This Bard ability we added to our game, and it's very rare to learn, but the Bard can tell a joke that literally will have the victims dying laughing from it, and that's this ability here, and it's what every Bard aspires to do in our game. That first edition Bard is to gain this. I think two Bards in the campaign have it, and then this.
Yeah, we have this in 5th edition. It's called Vicious Mockery.
Oh, okay. It can kill. It can kill.
Yeah, it does damage. It's a joke that does damage or damage.
Interesting. So they steal.
Psychic damage.
Psychic damage. Sorry.
Yes, it makes your blood vessel pop in your forehead.
This outright kills though. This
What's
is
a bad joke?
Yeah. It's a fun joke there. And then lastly. Here we go. The Midgets in the Earth article, another Roger Mooreism, and this is a joke. You got the Cobalt Commandos, right, and here, and then our favorite of all time, Euban Had, who's the leader of Spunk, the Short People's Union for Nefarious Kleptomaniacs. Spunk is actually in Altamira as an alternate thieves guild. All right, so Spunk is there. Euban Had's crazy, and then Mork the Orc, which is really a joke. So yeah, this was an April Fool's issue.
Yes,
but you got some really cool things here. So there you go on that one on number 60. So who wants to jump out with one?
I have one that I think should be in every Greyhawker's Dragon Index, and that is from Dragon 59. There is The Great Kingdom and the Knights of Doom by Rob Coons.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's good.
Which one was that?
It's in 59.
59.
Yeah. On page 24.
Aha! I can do that one.
And I have a difficult. I want to use the Knights of Doom. I used them a little bit in my Rel Devin campaign, but I still have an issue how to fit them in with all the deviltry and all that other stuff, so to speak. So I put them in as a remnant of the past in a way. But it's interesting. I want to read this again and go in there, and it's a 2-page article. So half of it is kind of mechanical, and the other half is a little bit of background and history and stuff.
Here's my question: where else do Doom Knights appear? Because they're not Death Knights.
Nowhere else, I think. But they're in the Undying. It's basically, I think, repeated.
Okay.
This
I thought they were called Fiend Knights in Ibid the Undying, aren't they?
I think the Knights of Doom.
Okay. Okay.
I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this
might use the term Fiend Knight somewhere too. Yeah.
Okay.
I completely forgot the distinction.
Yeah.
Very cool, Anna. That's a good one. And this is directly a Greyhawk lore.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
That's perfect.
It was like Gary had written these kind of updates on the Greyhawk campaign previously, and then Rob Coons jumped in and wrote.
Hey, Gary.
And this was one of the cool ones. So
yeah. Patrick, you didn't let him do his monthly. Patrick. Gary always forgets to do his monthly. It probably just expired. Well, there you go. You got a free month. So, but thank you very much, Patrick. So yeah, this is a good one, and I have one. Gary's on now, so I'm gonna jump to it, and I better find it here. Give me a sec. I think it's Dragon 79, which I was bringing up, but while we have Gary on, let's make sure we go to it because this is a moment. This makes Gary's life. If it's in this one, here we go. There we go. What do you think, Gary? Yes. Setting
Is that an
Saintly
April issue?
Standards by Scott Benny, who I've tried to contact to try and get him on the show, and I've had no luck. So you have Saint Cyril the Relentless. You have Saint Bane the Scourger. You have Saint Kargath, King of the Death Knights. There we go. And Saint Elidor the Survivor. So,
Which number? Which issue?
79.
Okay,
This is
79.
this
Awesome.
is the origination of Gargath.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's not Greyhawk to start. This story is not Greyhawk based. It's generically based. So Gary, who first name in D&D, yeah, correct, Gary. Who converts this into Greyhawk? Gary, do you take credit for that? Does he have the mace? He has. He does not have the mace. He has Gorgrin the Shatterer. Which let me blow this up a little bit here. Oh, that was too much, but maybe you'll be able to see it. Here it is, Gorgrin the Shatterer. Long career was which does 2 to 20, plus victim of save versus death magic or be disintegrated. There you go. So, and then I used one time. I made up Haynard of the White Guard stats. Has anyone else done that too? Because Haynard of the White Guard is mentioned right here. Battle of the legendary Haynard of the White Guard. And it does not talk about it beyond that. So Gary, I would like to know your thoughts on that too. But here, so this is like the creme de la creme of, wow, this came in as an article and then it was brought into Greyhawk and run with. So had to share that one while we knew we had Gary on there. So do we have any others like that, Rich, and or Mike, that you can think of?
Well, there's a new one that we now know is Gary's second favorite article. Based on the melee tournament where the Black Knight fought. And that is in Dragon Magazine number 29, the Half Ogre as a player race.
Yes. All right. So
That's early.
Black Knight loved that Half Ogre in that melee.
I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to go to a later one here as well. Because I know it's in here. It's of course by this one's a Roger Moore up to page 46. I think this is a later article where he develops on that original article there, Rich. Okay. So yeah, let me just get to it here. And this is there's they got to talk about two-fisted fighting too. Here it is. This is 73, but this is based on. I think he mentions it. You said which one is it? 29.
29.
Yeah. Yeah, 29 is almost half a page. I think that was it, right? On the Half Ogre in that one.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's really short, but this one he goes in a little more depth on the in 73, and talks about. Yeah, here it says from the Sister Scroll column, issue 29 of Dragon Magazine. So he talks about that, and then and develops this out, and here comes Blue Box, awesome. So we're thank you all, thank you John and crew. I hope you guys had a great one-shot game there. Really appreciate it. We are chatting up great Dragon Magazine articles tonight. Hang out, and we've got a great giveaway. Another Carlos Slicing $25 gift certificate, CSL Entertainment, community based. Thank you so very much. So Half Ogres live a long time, 140 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's weird. Normally humanoids are very short-lived.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's venerable, but still. Yes, Moore wrote The Adventure Begins. Moore is very prolific for a long time, Gribbly, until he gets burned out. And Anna's been trying for 2 years to try and get him on a Gabbin show. We've been trying, or Legends and Lore, and we haven't had success.
Yep.
So, he's another one. I think he's completely out of the industry. And it talks about alignment here, but Half Ogres are large, as we all know. We've seen them. We saw Brim playing the Grand Melee and Brim on Blue Box, and Walt plays a lot of Half Ogres in my campaign. He's got Mungo Woodchip. There's a couple others. Kruk is another one. Yes, he's named after John Kruk, the baseball player. Yes, so we have a fair number of them. Well, probably there, David. They probably do die early, but they can live old. So, Yep, half
I
ogre is
guess
one
this is the
page.
natural lifespan if they don't get killed in combat
Yeah.
or any of that, so to speak.
You have your stat generation, which I think is very similar to 129. So yeah, so you have this in both places. It's a great article. That was a fantastic one, Rich, to bring up. I want to scroll back here to, this is another, Roger Moore's everywhere. This is from 68, which has a great cover, which I can pop up. This is our first time really expanding combat, and that's from 68. And that was like, oh wow, like, it's mentioned barely in, I think, the Dungeon Master's Guide, that you can fight with either a hand axe or a dagger in your secondary hand, and that's it. At a penalty of -2 to hit, and -4 to hit in each, and that's all it has ever stated until this article came out with they say two-fisted, but everyone, that confuses people. So you think two-fisted, right? You know, two-handed weapon, so two-weapon fighting.
Or Captain Kirk punch, which is
Yes. So, hey, nah, sorry about that, man. You probably turned it off. No, I'm just kidding. So good to see you, Tim, our longest sub. But you got to be careful once again with balance of everything. Don't when weapon specialization came out. My problem was I had people weapon specializing in their secondary hand and their primary hand too much. I nixed that right away. Only primary hand. But this is, in the tables here. So if you're old school, this is where you go, and that was Dragons 68 for when you start on how to fight longsword dagger, or footman's mace, horseman's mace, whatever it may be. It just had to follow the rules on it. So cool one.
Another question people were talking about was inns and taverns, how to make them unique and whatnot. People were asking about that in chat the other day.
Yes.
29. Dragon 29 has an article on inns and taverns.
I have that dragon.
It repeats itself. There's a lot of articles on inns and taverns and city building and settlements and random effects of settlements. So,
So I'm going to press a little button here. So note that Sunday night's Gabbin is Greyhawk Campaign Development Tavern Talk. So we're going to go in depth on specific ones and how to make them and what to do and all.
Yeah, well, make a note. Dragon 29 might help. Yeah.
Absolutely. So definitely, and that'll be myself, Anna, and Jason, and maybe the ever mysterious Tim. So. Thank you all for coming in here. I really appreciate it. Blue Box for the raid in. I'll do one more shout out here. So, yes, lots of great taverns in Greyhawk, and we're going to talk about them all over the place. Besides the ones in published sources, we'll get and how they're developed and what to look for. But a really good one there on as well. Here's one on the same in 29. What's this? Aging in D&D. So I never even looked at this there, Rich, by Mike Crean.
Is that if you get hit by ghosts and stuff like that? Or is it the first time they talk about you lose wisdom and strength and all that as you age?
Yeah, I never even, is that it? Wow, that is small. That is it.
Yeah, because remember this, a lot of this was before the books came out, right? So a lot of the rules here get represented. Like Patrick was asking about weather patterns of Greyhawk. Well, the article in the Dragon magazine that talked about the Greyhawk weather was then reproduced in the 83 box set, almost verbatim. So it first showed up in the Dragon, and then it showed up in the published sources. So they did that a lot. If you go through the Dragon, you say, "Oh, this eventually made it," like you did with the Polards, right? Eventually made it to Unearthed Arcana.
Yep, absolutely.
So.
Another one from 29 that Valmoko just brought up is the first time the Giants in the Earth articles, he said, appears, which is cool because they were taken right from literature, kind of converted to D&D, all the different characters.
But these are a little bit less. I have them in the index, but they're a little bit less relevant for current players because these books are so old, nobody's read them. Like a 20, 30-year-old, even a 40-year-old has never read it.
Really? You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even know half of them when I was reading this Dragon magazine when it first came out.
Okay. I know this, that we've had this discussion before. The more that we get involved in in the community, the more people that you know, like to look at the older content, and that's a wonderful thing. So some of us have no life. That's not. Yeah, come on, Patrick. We all have lives there of some sort. All right, can I honor Len for a second again?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's honor Len. I better have this. So I should go to the Best of Dragon Volume 3, but I'm not going to. 3 new NPC classes. So if you go to from the Sorcerer's Scroll, I believe on this one. Oh, here's look, Phineas Fingers and Jasmine are in this one.
Hmm.
Wow, there's your Darlene.
Yep.
Yeah.
She still has a Patreon where she finished and worked on extending the storyline of Jasmine.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, too. There's a squad leader scenario in this one too. Holy schmolies! Look at that. I love squad leader when I was a kid. I mean, the box sets back then were wonderful. One who predicts and one. Where the heck is this? Oh my gosh, I can't find it because it's under. I thought it was. Here it is. This is, of course, the first class we added ever in my campaign beyond the Player's Handbook classes.
Yeah.
The Len Lakofka Archer, right? And this is the original article from number 45. Now, this can be super overpowering, and you have to know how to balance it out. So they get 3 hours per round at 7th, and they have a crazy combat table. There it is, the hits and damage. You need to know how to balance this character out. First off, any mage that sees this is going to go right after an archer, because archers are the bane. You know, archers can take out mages like crazy, and we had a lot of archers that died multiple times in our campaign, but it's fun. So Leonard was on key with this. Loved it. He did a rework of it in 2006, I believe, and we actually, I think that's on Greyhawk Online and on Dragon's Foot. I think it is in both places. But there's a Leonard article for you right in the Old Dragon 45, also in Best of Dragon Volume 3. So monks are good against archers, yes, because they can dodge the arrows. But Cathay, I always see monks failing their petrification saves all the time to dodge. Look what happened with Tim's character Thursday night. He failed like 3 of them. You know, got hit with like full damage on stuff. So yeah. All right, so Mike, what do you got?
Okay. Earlier, I think you brought up issue 68.
Yep.
And Canadian Ancient Gamer Patrick mentioned the World of Greyhawk weather generator is in it.
Oh yes, good one.
Which
Great one.
I thought was really
That
cool.
was my yep.
You know, as going back and collecting issues with Greyhawk content, this one is like key because it also has several Iridian deities in it. Pariah, Textor, and all that. Or wait, no, that's issue before. This is Celestian, Foltis, etc. The 67 to 70 or 71 issues were just as good as the Sewell issues.
Yep.
And it amazes me that they waited 20-something issues to do the Sewell. So clearly the Iridians were better.
So who wrote this? It doesn't say.
Oh, the weather generator?
Yeah, it says
I used
his
to know
name
this.
appears in there if you read the text. I remember.
It says here, thanks also due to Frank Menser.
No, the author appears in there
Someone
somewhere.
in chat will know.
Oh, here it is. David Axler.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what else David Axler's done, but kudos to him for getting material in the box set, Greyhawk box set.
So, how good is it, Mike?
Oh, I used to use it quite often.
It's almost word for word of what's in the box set. By the way.
If you're going for if you're going for simulation type gaming, that weather generator was unreal.
Because here are the locations, right? So, and I know that a lot of you will be like, well, we need to get about 100 more in there, right? But
But there's a website where the guy's taken that and has made it a randomizer. You tell him the latitude you're at, and it'll calculate it all for you. If somebody could put in chat the guy Pure, I think it is. Is it Pure? There's a website that just look up random Greyhawk weather generator, and it basically reproduces this on a nice little web page interface.
Okay. Very cool. Someone link that if you know where it is. Look at that. Also in this art event one, you got some the Greyhawk deities are starting to appear from Gary Gygax.
Yep.
And I love these articles because I'm like, yeah, it's about time, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't have to use the finished gods anymore, right?
Yep.
So
now I'm a big fan of mythologies and things, and as a young lad coming across new mythologies like this was just, I would eat that up. But if I had to pick one or the other series, I think the Soul is better.
Mike, you're my new favorite player. More QP for you.
I can't quantify it.
See, you got
quite
level up.
quantify it. I just liked the Soul articles better.
So I'm going to scroll. Yes, I agree, but we needed Greyhawk deities, right? We needed.
Oh
them.
yes,
They
we needed them from Gary. It's so good that he wrote these articles, and we needed the Soul one from Len too. It was like it was from the horse's mouth. They were from the original creators. They wrote the articles.
But I would love to go back to that time, because like when those issues came out in the 60s issues, when the Orion articles came out, did fans say, "Hey, do these gods," or did we not even know about the Soul gods then, because they don't come out for another couple of years?
Right. So I want to show you something. I know this guy. In fact, I was in his house, and we bought Shokanth off of him. He had a little sub store. We also the Dwarven stretcher crew from Ral Partha we got off him, and that is right there. The miniatures case. As you can see, it's the high school I went to in the town right next to where I grew up, Haddon Heights, New Jersey. He custom made these cases for your D&D miniatures. So that he actually advertised in Dragon magazine. That's really funny that came through here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
So yeah, the miniatures case. Thank you, Jim, for linking that. So very good one here, and Alana is one of our all-time favorites. Most half elves in the game, Gazumba, Hawk, all the original characters were Alana worshippers, because you were limited. You were limited to Corel and Lorethian from deities and demigods. Rolthane, Ralphil the tree, right, which is the Sylvanelf god, and Alana. I mean, what else did you have as an elf back then? That was it?
Yeah, it was issue 60, like you said, that you mentioned before.
Right,
Jay.
but if I didn't have, I started. The first issue I got was 61, which was the gnomes. I didn't have 60 until 2 years later, because I started back collecting issues. So I didn't get that issue.
One.
Yeah,
that was the big one for elves. It was fantastic. Yeah,
Loth. That's funny. Yeah, you did have Loth from that. So, good one, Mike. Very good one.
One of the nice joke articles that I always enjoyed, I put that in the index because it just made me laugh every time when I read it, was 36, Dragon 36, called Meeting Demogorgon, the Last Great Acts of Defiance and Cowardice. So it's basically a bunch of things you could say when you're low level and you accidentally pop in Demogorgon.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I love that.
That's a great one. I agree. I don't have that one in here to pop up, but there's like what, 50 of them?
There's 30 statements you could say.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I laugh. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It doesn't one of them say if you say that he may be so impressed with you, he just memes you?
I totally laugh. So my favorite is 19. Offer up one of your companions as an involuntary sacrifice.
That's a good one. Yeah. Awesome. It's a lot of good humor back then too.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's one thing. Like if you read them, the editorials, they talk about putting humor in your game. They complain about how players take the game too seriously. The modules are supposed to be humorous. You're supposed to put puns in them. You're supposed to put.
That's how you end up with the joke Castle Greyhawk.
Yeah, I guess.
Wait. So that's when you take a joke too far. All right. So we're gonna do this. Are you ready? Right off the top of your head, we'll start with Rich. Rich, joke thing in your game.
Oh, geez. So I I got my giants named after like Gomer, Pyle, and Rufus, and
Yeah.
Roscoe Pico train. And
Yeah, from the Dukes of Hazzard.
The Hazard and
Mike,
this right?
That's great. That's great. Mike, come on, one joke thing.
I actually had an NPC named Joe Dirt, and my players fell so much in love with that NPC that I had to create the entire Joe Dirt family, and they took them everywhere they went.
Yeah.
Oh, Anna.
No
jokes.
No jokes. No jokes in my games. Yep.
None at all.
I'm the Scandinavian. They're gloomy, boring, desolate, and terribly evil and difficult.
Oh my gosh.
There's no fun in my games. No, not at all.
I had one guy called Razor Ramon.
Wrestler.
Wrestlers. Oh, wow.
Bag, and he was an NPC, and he kept like flirting with the female characters and just running away whenever the fighting got too tough. He would just hide, and he would try to take all the credit, and they hated him. So
Rich, I'll take it one step further.
All right.
I had an NPC named Big John Stud.
There you go.
And he was from the Great Kingdom, and 2 of Walt's female player characters are his daughters.
Oh.
So there you go. Plus I had Poo Poo and Kaka, so there.
That's right. So you got to throw a little bit in there.
Except for Anna. That's funny. That's funny in itself, though.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
Has no humor.
But it was half serious because I have very little jokes in my games. Unfortunately, I wish I had more, but it's occasionally I think the situation can turn into fun, and it's not that we don't laugh around the gaming table when games we do, but I don't want the game to be silly. No, it's more like situational things that comes up due to stupid bad rolls and people say funny things and stuff like that, but not by design. No,
I'm probably the only person who has ran Dungeon Land and Land Beyond the Magic Mirror, and my players wanted to go back.
Oh,
that's kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
There, see, Chantal, you're back. There you go. Told you get back on. That's good to see. Cool. All right, so oh man, see, I had all these. All right, let me go to let me hop on to one here, and then we'll keep on rotating. What time we got? Okay, we got another 20, 30 minutes here. 73. Now 72 has the Cavalier, and we've discussed the Cavalier ad nauseum in a lot of other adventures and a lot of other shows, particularly Gabbins, about how I love the Cavalier from Dragon way over the Honest Arcana Cavalier, which I can't stand. But I want to go to this little gem, if I can find it, and you'll now the Casey Basher, the Duelist.
Yeah.
Right, so the Duelist appears in this article, and one of our favorites. I'd say this is my second favorite next to the Archer. It's Arthur Collins. So Arthur Collins has done a lot of writing, including Snowlock spells, and he's done a lot of work. The Duelist is a cool character. They wear leather, no armor, and but they can fight two weapons and have die 12 for hit dice, like a barbarian, because their ability to avoid damage. It's neat. Once again, you got to, just like balance for everything else, you got to make sure it stays balanced. And I love having the Duelist schools, and my guys are all arrogant SOBs, and the women that are Duelists, as Casey was complaining about, they're all jerks. Well, they should be. They're all chaotic neutral, chaotic characters. So, but that's.
Well, couple of that Dragon 40, right? You got the dueling room.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Dragon 40. I don't think I have 40. I have 41, 45, 49 in the 40s. So what's the dueling room about there, Rich?
All right, let me just pull it up again.
Let me go to put up the original Mr. Dragon. So as he's pulling it up, any sea-based ones you favor, Mike, from the early Dragons?
What's the one article by? It's the High Seas, something or other. Last name Foy. I don't think that's in the top 100 though.
So
That
Gary, okay, Gary, we're gonna go.
Um,
We're gonna divvy this up. We're gonna go in depth in the future. This gives us a ton of ideas. We can do ecologies. We can do spells, classes. There's a lot of things we can do. So it's gonna go in. Yeah, we're gonna do this in the future with a lot of different, and we'll open it up to all the dragons. You know,
Yeah.
so
The dueling room is basically it's simply a room, which has different shapes. So they give you some map shapes that you could use, and you go in and you duel against an opponent. And there's random effects happening in the room while it's going on. And there's certain rules on how to fight in there, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, and how much you can bet on it, how much you can make
cool.
it, bets, and the challenge procedure and everything. It's all about that, duels, running duels.
Who wrote it? Anyone we know?
Jeff Schweikeffer.
I mean, I'll even go into White Dwarves too, because there's a lot of great stuff in early White Dwarves. So we got a long way to go with this, you know.
Yeah.
So very cool. All right, so it's Dragon 40. I'm gonna check that out. I've never read that one.
Yeah. Another neat one of Dragon 40 is funerals and other deathly ideas. Because
yeah.
You like that one, right, Anna?
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, and I use that inspiration because I wanted to, and this is morbid beyond. This is not for fun campaigns, but I made up funeral traditions and stuff. What different cultures, what they do with their dead, deceased, and that is something that
only goes to 38.
Enhanced my campaign a lot, so to speak, because you can do a lot of interesting things with it. And I wanted to simply, what do culture do when you have undeads? To bury them next to your village is not a good idea, so to speak. So I realized they must have other traditions. So I started to figure out, and I went for the different cultures, meaning what the Eridians, the common nowadays, and the old faithers, and the Becluni, and so on and so forth, elves and dwarves and stuff, what they do with their deceased ones. So I've written up rules for that.
What do do with their dead?
Sorry?
Ren, what do they do with their dead?
Rennie, they burn them and bury the ashes in the
they must
water,
do sea, sea
burners. Yep. And if they can't burn them, they put weights on them and dump them where it's deep. So you have alternate versions, so to speak. The version, if they have time and all the effort, and if they're really going to do it quickly, so to speak. The wolf nomads, they are nasty in a way. They put them out to be eaten by wild wolves and other beasts, so to speak. So to get them back to nature, and so on. So there is different things. Yeah.
Very kind of you. We're talking some old dragons there. Thank you for the follow. So Anna, Mike, a couple others.
I have one little neat little article that in Dragon 67 that I think is kind of cool. Souping up the spider. It's an interesting one that kind of, it talks about spider biology and how spiders work in the real world and have ideas on how you can use that on your AD&D monster spiders. And I think that's a great inspiration.
Did Tim write that?
Greg
you would
Chamberlain.
think. They were mysterious.
Greg Chamberlain. So I think it's someone who knows a lot about spiders and stuff. So it's kind of based in biology and have different examples of how real world spiders do in different things. And it's kind of a really cool thing to make your spiders more interesting and varied.
Yeah. So I did a huge research on spiders and how big a spider's web would be compared to their size. So when you got large spiders, how big a web would they do, and how thick is the diameter of their threads? And oh, did you know this about spiders, that spiders can spit out different kinds of webs? So you can have
for different purposes,
non-sticky webs. And then when they make their web, they interlace it. So you'll have sticky, non-sticky, sticky. And then they pattern it, and the spider knows which are sticky and not. So it can walk on its web by skipping the sticky ones, but anybody else who goes on it gets stuck.
Definitely.
It's a whole science in material that they have like a whole factory in there, but that can kind of crank out different types.
My wife says I have the same thing, but for different reasons.
I would love to and that's a good spot there. Is I would love to. I don't know why I haven't, but we have sword spiders. About the only one that we've really added in where they don't have the poisonous, but they have the pincers in the front to get multiple attacks. But there's, spiders really should be. There should be more than large, giant and phase.
Jumping spiders are kind of cool. Make them big, and they're kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah, Wiley, we're talking about mostly the first 100 dragons. We're going over a lot of cool stuff in there. Cave spiders. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a combat computer?
What's a combat computer? Combat computer isn't that the wheel? And Dragons isn't that out of Dragon 74? That's so valuable.
Okay.
It was something they sold, I think. They had ads for it in.
Here it is.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Weren't there some issues where they had like programming,
Yes. Yes.
coding
yeah,
and stuff?
yeah.
It's just
Oh,
like,
yeah, they had the
geez.
programming examples in
Yeah.
some dragons. Yep, they did.
So the combat computer is really cool, and it's just,
And they had reviews of computer games went on for many years in Dragon. They even had the reviews of flight sims and stuff like that in Dragon magazine.
So we're stopping at 100 there, Grendel Wolf.
Yeah, we're holding to the first 100 because we know that if we went to 250, we'd get barely anything done. So I guarantee you we're going to go 101 to 250 shortly, because we're always looking for Legends and lore topics. So this was our kickoff here.
Another fun one, people talk about this, is 51, the Winged Folk.
Oh, Al-Karakilam, right? So,
yeah, so not the Arokaka or whatever they're called.
No, not the Al-Karakilam. And you know where I can get to that article easily? Best of Dragon Volume 3.
Yeah,
They're in here
so
too.
I thought this was interesting for people who want
Page
humans with
71.
wings. There you go. Yeah. Look at that picture.
It's up here.
There you go. So if you want these winged guys in your campaign and you don't want the
Al-Karakilam, yes.
you can grab these guys.
No, they're not Arakakra, Lee. This is different.
Yeah.
These are like elvish, half-elving looking with
That's
wings. Right. So, quick story. I've had 2 of these in my campaign. There's a reclusive race of them in the Lort Mills, way up in high peaks. Flying characters is not a good idea.
No.
It's not on a regular basis that I can fly everywhere. So we
it's a huge advantage.
You can make hazards, weather, dragons.
You can't have that. You can't have that hazard like just walking down the street, Anna. That's the problem. You can all the time.
No, but when they go into nasty places, so to speak, then yeah.
Flying doesn't work well with 1E combat, Naz. It's just that simple. It does, but it doesn't. That's why I usually. My dragons aren't flying around because archers just pick them apart. So, but yeah, this is cool. Just got to, once again, be careful with it as far as making a player character. I don't know about what's going on in 5e anyway, but we tried it. I had an NPC and a PC and killed them both off.
Now, in that same article, there's something that I believe Les was making fun of because you want to do something similar. Piranha bats.
That's a good idea.
Bunch of bats that attack like piranhas and they cut you apart.
That would work.
Yeah, people who are tired of sturgy.
I was going to say you have to have a variant, so to speak. When you had too many sturges sucking the blood, then you introduce piranha bats. Yeah.
So and these things got sonar and stuff, so you could be walking around a dungeon, and next thing you have these piranha bats come at you.
Yep.
So, just the fact that you say this cave piranha bats would scare half the players from going into the cave.
Yeah. They don't have to be in a cave. They can come up in wild open.
Inside of the forest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you make them bigger, like fruit bats in size, so they can do like 1d4 of damage at least. Plus that they bring sickness, disease, and stuff like that. And then you have some cool monsters. Yep.
So time to torture you all.
No.
I thought piranha bats was bad enough.
Okay, this is the class we were talking about Sunday night. The Incantatrix. Now that I pronounce it properly, this does exist in my campaign. I love the idea of spell stealing and of stealing charges from items. Once again, it's a very limited class. Here's the spell list. I added a lot of spells to it. They do not do damage spells. They're not doing fireballs and stuff. And so this does exist in my game. It's got some mix of illusionist and mage spells in it. But there you go. So that does exist, and that was from Dragon 90. So
that same issue, if I can jump on,
Sure.
has one of my favorite adventure / articles, and that's Aetherhammer.
there you go.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
And it has like a whole associated article detailing the playing of Gladsheen. Just very cool.
Roger
Very
Moore
cool
again.
issue.
Yeah.
Guy does it all.
He does. Haraidmar the Hunter. I mean, he just is. He was like the Bruce Cordell was of end of 2E 3E, right? How much he wrote. He was writing constantly. So
Not a bad article.
is it an article or a campaign setting?
I think Aetherhammer's an adventure.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then the rest of it's kind of like the campaign.
Okay.
It's
It's it's pretty long too. Oh, look at that! It's got Asgard, everything there.
You see, I'm a collector of Thor comics, and when that issue came out, I was just like, woo, great, overjoyed to have that.
Awesome.
I actually ran it.
Very, very cool. Oh, there's the D&D poster only sold at Sears. Oh my gosh, 1984 Christmas calendar. Who has it? The original. Anyone?
I have a print of it.
And the other thing is, if you flip through the Dragon magazines, you get interesting trap type articles. So like in 53, you got just a door, not anymore, right? So all these neat kind of doors that are trapped, or they might be mimics type of thing. And so there's that. There was one pit trap that I thought was just incredibly deadly. So it's a funnel shaped pit. So literally your character falls into it, it gets stuck at the bottom into this funnel. And then you just basically pour acid down on it and fill the funnel up.
Oh, that sounds Tim-like, doesn't it? Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. All right, so what we got? Okay, still got some time here before shout outs. So someone give me one.
I have one short one that I think can be interesting, and that is the whole truth about speed in Dragon 70 that explains how sailing ships, how it works with this speed and hull size and stuff. And those are kind of interesting things that you can kind of, if you want to introduce various ship designs in your campaign, that article is interesting to kind of dive into a bit.
I took that article and I made an Excel sheet and I put that up on Cannon Fire.
See?
So if you go on Cannon Fire, it's called Ship Design, and it incorporates a lot of that article into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tesseract was early on. Yeah.
Cannon Fire downloads, I think software is called or something like this.
So this is one page. That's it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's one big illustration on one page, and then there's the article on the other page. So yeah.
Yeah.
So did anyone run Baba Yaga's Hunt Out of the Dragon?
No.
Here.
Mike did 8485. What'd you think?
There's something I really like about those type of modules. So I ran that. I ran the 2E Baba Yaga, and I think I probably went back and did it again, but redesigned the rooms, because the way I played it was every time you went in the hut, the arrangement changed.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I like the.
Oh, it's twofold.
That's where and the dancing huts where you first learn about Natasha and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, twofold talismans in 8485 Chantel, which is on my wall of fame. Yeah. So I don't want to ruin it for anyone of the trick on this one. Yeah. So Tesseract is very early, absolutely. So okay, well, Mike gives a thumbs up for that. At least that's someone saying.
You want to give your players a tank, run Baba Yaga's Dancing Hut.
So from time travel.
I guess she goes everywhere.
That's nutty. Rich, what do you?
Here's a controversial article that we've discussed numerous times. Number 66, Gary's opinion of gunpowder.
Oh,
Ooh.
wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
If you want to have, there it is, 66.
Shit,
I actually
don't
have
66.
something
My God.
associated to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike. I don't have 66.
My final thing here is I have issue 95. Gary's opinion on why there's no Middle Earth in
Oh, yeah.
D&D.
Yeah.
And I call BS on
Why there's no Middle Earth in D&D?
it in D&D. Yeah,
Huh.
he wrote a whole article on that, trying to defend where he, I guess, doesn't
Did not steal
get
it.
influenced by
Oh,
it.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
like
Whatever.
tree ants, that kind of
Oh, he
stuff?
tried to-
Whatever,
yeah.
Gary.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Exactly. Me neither. It was something that they
Yes,
felt
so
they had
good.
to write. Let's see if I can.
But what's also special about issue 95 is that's also has the adventure Into the Forgotten Realms.
Oh.
The first published Forgotten Realms module. Ed had done all them articles up to that point, and that was the first, like, before the setting came out. You know, that was a little mini adventure they put in that issue. Into the Forgotten Realms.
So excuse me. I missed that Ed tried justifying that he didn't steal it. Come on, we all knew that. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be
Awesome.
proud of it. I really would. I mean, because Lord of the Rings is awesome.
Yeah, but they wanted to distance themselves from Lord of the Rings back then.
95.
From-
95 was Into the Forgotten Realms. Okay. Anyone else with any other ones there? We're moving right along.
Yeah, I have issue 72. There is the ecology of the piercer, which is one of these kind of interesting that I think deserves an ecology because it's such a weird but very simple monster, and they fleshed out the monster kind of really cool.
The
72 is a
ecologies
great
were good for that.
Yep.
I like the fact that it walks, right? It crawls.
Yeah, exactly. You can kind of, it adds features to it. And that's what I love about the ecology. It adds things that are beside combat and stuff, that what the monsters are made of and how they actually, how they come to be, so to speak, and their niche in the world.
That's a Chris Elliott. I wonder if that's a Chris Elliott from.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Chris Elliott and Richard Edwards.
Yeah, but Chris Elliott's from what's his name, Letterman. I wonder if it's the same Chris Elliott.
Yes.
And from
no way.
what do you call it? The one Day Over and Over and Over Again. Oh God, Bill Murray.
Oh, Groundhog.
Groundhog Day. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So interesting.
And
Yeah.
one that Anna and I probably like is number 80, Who Lives in That Castle?
Yeah, that's a great one. Yep. Mhm.
Right?
Yep, that's on my coming list here of things. Yep. Mhm.
Who Lives in That Castle? 80.
Yep. It lists all the
So people who
because
don't
they-
want to read a million medieval books, read that article. It tells you who the Castellan is,
exactly, and yeah.
and
Mhm.
ballet and all this stuff, right?
Yep.
Tasteless Song of the Month, Valley Elf. He's a Valley. I didn't even. I just popped up on that. Wow, that's messed up.
Similar to the article they just said, issue 94 has An Army Travels on Its Stomach.
Yes, that's another good one.
It's a very good one.
That's a good
That one
too.
actually is great because it explains the more people you have, the slower your army goes and why. And at one point,
Great cover too. Great cover.
Caldwell, very good.
Yeah.
Lord Catherine Kerr.
Yeah, she's got a lot of these well thought out articles.
Yep.
Catherine about the dragons.
So you also have an ecology of the Shimra here. You also have official changes for Rangers that came in here. From we're tracking Creature Catalog 2. It's a good one.
So here's an interesting one. 81, Chariots for Characters. People don't use chariots at all. Like,
Not true.
Typically, they don't use chariots, right? You got your horses, you got your wagons, but people do not attack in combat. I've yet to meet a PC who says, I'm going to have a chariot and fight with chariots. Right? But there's an article on it, how chariots work and all this. So it's a unique one, 81. So I haven't found another one like it where they talk about chariots.
So, whoops. I don't want to crash anything here. So, Rich, you haven't obviously watched Tim's game where I play in it. My character Dervilia has. We have a chariot miniature.
Yeah, and you fought with it like.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
actually have and it must be ripped off from Star Trek. I have a henchman fighter specialized in bow named Flavius. So
Okay.
she's in the chariot, and yeah, absolutely, it's cool. It took me 2 years to find that miniature. It's a British, it's all metal, yeah, and of course I can't. I don't know where the pick is on my machine right now. If you scroll down, what
was that Chariot Mini advertised in Dragon? Because
I don't
seem to
think so.
recall one.
I don't think so. You can see the box behind me on the back wall there. But look at scroll down on the Twitch chat, and you go under what's it? It's right down here. There's a picture of it. Viewer participation, assist our heroes, and there's a pic right down below the actual broadcast. If you scroll down there, and that's the chariot that and Bill based it up and all of that. Yeah. So I think that reason, though, and I don't know. Rich, is because the miniatures are so hard to come by.
Well, also, you can't really use a chariot in most dungeons. I mean, I've frequently tried to get around the palanquin with my slaves carrying my character around, and it always fails. Like someone takes away my palanquin, or my zombies slip on the muck and falling face first in the muck. It just doesn't work, right? So a chariot would be just as bad, right?
Well, chariot, you kill the horses.
Well, that's it, right? So.
Yeah. So but M5, they gotta be sturdy. This one's all metal, and they gotta fit multiple miniatures on them and 28mm scale. That's the key, and
So
be able to use.
I read this and I found this and I dug it up and I used this because there's a dungeon magazine, quadpartite artifact, where at one point your player characters are attacked by giants being on a chariot being pulled by 2 mammoths. And so I had to look up the rules to see what would happen if a chariot that has 2 frost giants on it run you over. Right? Like, what the hell would that do to your character?
It would be like a juggernaut running you over, 10 to 100.
Right? So I'm messing around with that. So the 2 mammoths pulling it, and what speed can mammoths achieve pulling a chariot with 2 frost giants on it? And
probably not too fast.
Mammoths
are slow moving, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, but when they get moving, they're pretty.
They can probably move at least as fast as a human, I think.
So 15 miles an hour.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to get hit by
elephants. Can be fairly. They
right?
can be fast. I don't think you can outrun an elephant. So, and I think mammoths were probably as fast as elephants.
Yeah.
The Romans used pigs and lit them on fire.
Yeah.
Ran them through the elephants. The elephants all bolted.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. To stop elephant charges. You need a large rhino mount figure. Well, Tim, you may want Gamescape 3D may have something similar to that. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. All right, let's do one more round. Everyone, go for one more real quick, and then we'll hit our shout outs and stuff as we look at 2 hours of flying by like usual.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you got? One in finish.
You squeezed me dry almost.
Good.
Let's see. Issue 93, pronunciation guide. Have
Ooh.
fun.
Whoops.
Catherine Kerr, did she write that one or?
Sounds like it.
I don't know who wrote it, but it's where you can get all your fun Greyhawk pronunciations.
And is it specifically for Greyhawk?
No, it's D&D in general.
That's D&D. Okay. Let's see if I have 93 on here. I do not have 93 on here. 94. I don't have 93. So it's a pronunciation guide for for locations, races.
It's a mixed bag.
Maybe, Naz. I didn't know that they tied cats to their shields. Oh my gosh, that's pretty brutal. It's very possible. So that's cool.
Mensa.
Pronunciation guide.
The old Frank Mensa.
Anna? What do you got?
Well, since I don't do anything funny in my games, so I thought there is in Dragon 72 there is a fun game included in the magazine, and it's called File 13.
Yes.
And it's a silly little game of trying to publish a game, and you have to go through all the different departments and stuff at TSR and all the pitfalls that you could and it's so funny. You can kind of it's complete silliness, but it's so funny. You can end up in Sam semicolon, and he can kind of screw it up, and there's all sorts of it. And what the editors can do it, with the printers and the art departments and the play testers and Myron minuscule can kind of screw it up, and it's fun. It's a bit like a Monopoly kind of game that you're supposed to coax your game through all the pitfalls of trying to get it published. It seems to be fun. I never played it, but it seems hilariously fun. Yeah.
So Tom Wham is probably going to be at GaryCon and probably run a lot of these games. He always runs board games, I'm told. So
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Good one. So that's the special attraction of Dragon 72. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Here's one of the real barbarians in here too.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
Catherine Kerr. Wow, that's Catherine Kerr.
Mm-hmm.
More Catherine Kerr there.
Yep.
Very cool.
I love those type of articles. There's another one on army logistics that is really cool for anyone who wants to dig into. That was on my list too.
Hey, Greenwood Gems galore.
Yeah.
Piercer, lots of good stuff, and of course the Cavalier, the good Cavalier here in Dragon 72. All right, Rich, what do you got?
Well, here's one. 97 for players and DMs alike. The only good captive is one that lives to fight another day. All sorts of reasons why, when you're losing a fight, how you can convince the monsters not to kill you. Keep your prisoner instead. It's one of those things where the DM's got you dead to rights and he should be a total party kill. As a player, you should read this article and say, wait, Mr. DM, I got some suggestions how you can not kill our whole party. And so this article comes up with some of that. Or you as a DM could read this and, bail at your players when things go really badly.
That's cool. I have not read that one either. So give us. There's some examples of what it of begs. Oh, okay.
So like you
Gary,
should
make a note of that
send this one to Tim. From
Yes.
what I understand, right? Tim, stop killing us. Read this.
See, I'm going to get everyone in trouble now because Tim's listening. Tim doesn't kill anyone. He just knocks people off cliffs.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Don't throw them off a cliff. Yes, Tim. See, you got in trouble. All right. So what am I going to finish with here? Finish this whole thing out. I've gone through most of them, so I can't remember which one was it 79 or 76? I think it's 76. Let's go to 76. Yes, look at that. Okay. Another bad another very nasty Len NPC, the Deathmasters in 76. So if you really want to mess someone's day up with a pure chaotic evil NPC, here it is. And every time Ed would come on the show and we talk about that, he goes, just remember, it's an NPC class only. He would say, you're not allowed to play a PC this, and he always would stress that. We're like, Len, we know. So, but the Deathmaster's in here, and they are pre-lich. It's someone who can become. I think one of their spell abilities is lich to eventually turn themselves in. They got some crazy spell. The Ecology of the Beholder's in here too, by Ed Greenwood and Roger Moore. Wow, that's a duo. Holy jeez. I didn't even know that as I was scrolling through that. What a mix that is. I'm going to ask Ed about that next time he's on. That is awesome. So, but obviously, who made the Beholder? Do we know that? Who actually developed the Beholder? Jason, you know that? Hey, Tabletop Santa, good to see you. Does anyone know who created the Beholder as a monster?
Since the early times.
Right, but someone had to do it.
Maybe it was
it
a plastic
Arneson?
toy like a Rustmonster or something that you never know.
Yeah, the Deathmaster was an awesome. And I threw one in a. Once again, I love throwing these things in that they can't find the publications readily in Saturday Night Specials. I've done a Rakshasa, I've done a Deathmaster, I've done a Lich, I've done a Sul Lich. Rich should have been proud of me on that one. So, yeah.
I'm surprised you did. I thought for sure you would say the Ecology of the Rakshasa was your favorite article.
That one's a Scott Benny article. Never the same thing twice, right?
No, it's called the Ecology of the Rakshasa.
Where is it?
In the 90s.
Yeah. No, I like Never the Same Thing Twice, and that's in my monster
Yeah,
book on that. And that's a Rakshasa by Scott Benny article, which gives us Rakshasa Knights, Rakshasa Lords, Ravana, King of the Rakshasas. It gives us all that too. I'm not sure if it's in the first 100 though. It probably is, but
I'm gonna find it.
remember, there's so many things we can go through here. Man, Wormy was still appearing out here in the 90s. I mean, in the late 70s. You know, what a shame that Wormy was great. I think this is one of the last ones, 76. So, Dragon Master is a great board game too. Out of 76.
84.
What's that?
84. 84 was the Ecology of the Rakshasa.
Yeah. Look for Never the Same Thing Twice, by the way, and see if you can do a search on that article. That is Rakshasa too. Here's 84.
I might not have.
Oh, look, there it is. It's in there too. It's right there. It's in 84 as well. Okay. So this is my article on. So you have the ecology of the. No, it's ecology of the trappers in here.
Well, okay, I call it Ecology of the Rakshasa, but not Never the Same Thing.
So Ed does Ecology of the Trapper in 84, and then here's Never the Same Thing. Scott Benny, I got to get him on the show. Got to, trying. And it talks about Ravana, and then here's your Knights, Lords, and Ravana, and these are even nastier than the Rakshasas in the Monster Manual 1, which is so hideous that it's so great there. Wow, that is so crazy that it wouldn't allow the word Kuntz, Kuntz. Thank you for allowing that. So, yeah, you're right though, Rich. I love this article. It's one of my favorite. Like I said, Rakshasa is my favorite monster. Because they're so hideous and so nasty and very tricky. Very, very tricky. All right. Wow, look at that. 5 minutes of, cranked it out. 2 hours of this already. Isn't that great? And look, we just scratched the surface. And that's the unbelievable thing about, we only went to tabletop. We only went to the first 100 dragons tonight. So, don't crash anything, Jay.
Uh-oh.
So, we got a lot to do down the road. We can specialize in articles from dragons, do more adventures, throw dungeon magazines in there that are Greyhawk adventures. There's a ton of things we can do off of this, and I guarantee you, as we want to keep it fresh and new, of course we'll do more of this. Anna, Mike, Rich, Rich, you're welcome back any time for these discussions. Hopefully you got a lot out of this. This is just scratching the surface. But there's a lot of great things in the early magazines you may not know about, especially if you weren't alive when they came out, which is probably a third of our audience. So, yeah, more articles from Anna. High expectations. Well, yeah. Sea research from Mike. So, Tim has made a Sea Mage class that I'm looking over. Of course, it's completely unbalanced. I'm just kidding, Tim. I really have only scratched the surface on it. Tim has made a new class for me to approve, so I'm looking it over now. So, not calling anyone out, just having a little fun there. Trust me, I wish I was that age. You get it in your 50s, it's just like everything's draining. We'll eventually may bring that out in a Gavin show, the Sea Mage, as we add to our repertoire of spells. Thank you. All right, so let's do some quick shout outs here, and I'll talk about a couple things, and then we'll do the giveaway, and we'll raid into someone. I think I know who I'm going to raid into. So go ahead, Mike.
Well, not a whole lot to shout out about right now. Just gaming in general. We're about to fit my game group on Thursdays is about to finish up published adventure where I'm currently playing in, so that might give me an opportunity to get back to running Greyhawk again. We'll see what happens. But otherwise, this was a very fun episode. I like deep diving in Dragon Magazine. I used to do that all the time on Greyhawkery. Looking back at the comics or various issues that caught my eye. So good times.
Alex Antiquitous just asked, we ever see another comic from you?
Oh yeah,
of course.
I think it's something funny.
Yeah, it can't be an Anna comic because Anna's no fun, right?
Yeah, no comic.
In fact, you should do an Anna comic Like
Yeah, you should do
nowhere
a
fun
bunch
of any kind, like
yeah.
Dean Wormer from
Yep.
Animal House.
Mhm. Yep.
They should have an NPC called Anna, but to make sure nobody recognizes her name, just flip it around the other way.
Yeah. Hmm. Yep.
You know.
So Anna, what's going on?
Well, it's from I'm working on the terrain and stuff for the update, the Flanny's map update, and it's going along. So I'm going to send some to Troy. For the his approval of the ocean depths and stuff like that. So that's been a big part, and some more rivers and stuff. So there will be a map stream next week when dive into, see if we can wrap up the terrain updates for the map 2021 edition. And then we have the mapping show on Friday, and see if I can I'll get you the files tomorrow, because I have a new settlement, Bogford, from my campaign.
Awesome.
That I wanted to use as an example of what you can do with the settlement, and I will have some more example maps and stuff. I'm sure some of them I showed on my seminar, but now I have more backstory, and I've done even some dungeon maps, and I've done better settlement maps and stuff on it as an example of how you can develop a settlement with history and some what happens. But the problem is that my players are just about to enter it, so I can't give too many spoilers. So there will be, in case my players will watch it. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the perfect time to bring out.
Oh
some
yeah.
settlements.
So there will be
Absolutely.
some stuff. But on the other hand, I can scare my players with all the stuff that is in there now. So yeah.
Awesome.
So that will come. And then I have some more heraldry for my campaign that I'm working on. Yeah, way more heraldry and stuff. But the problem is that a lot of the stuff I'm working on now is not going to be ready. So there will be a gap in probably the next month or so, because I don't want to post all the stuff on my Patreon blog before I've actually used it in my games. So therefore it's a lot of it will be produced and then used in the game, and then I will polish up the writing and stuff like that and talk about it afterwards. So what I will do in the meantime is that for the Atlas, I actually made fancier versions of the heraldry that looked like they were metal shields and stuff. So I'm going to take all the existing heraldry and create fancy versions of them, because it's not that difficult in Photoshop. So I'm going to take a couple of them every other day or so and post. So there will be fancier looking versions of all the heraldry. That will be a kind of a stopgap, because that's something I always wanted to do, and so now is the time to kind of do that little bit in between, so to speak. So there's a lot of stuff in the making, and also I have so much stuff that I have set myself as a goal to have done by the end of the year. So that's why I need to work on it, and rather than finishing it, so to speak. And there will be a second adventuring group in my campaign. We have started and started creating characters and stuff. So there will be a second party in the same general story, so to speak, and the same area. So then we'll see if there will be crossover sessions down the line. We'll see about that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Alyssa, Anna, and I will be back for the Fantasy Mapping Show on Friday night,
Friday,
8 p.m. Friday night,
yeah.
8 p.m. EDT.
Yeah. And
as well.
Talk about settlements this time. So anything from villages to metropolises. So talk about from the technical perspective, what kind of tools can you use, what kind of styles, ideas, and also more from the design concept, a little bit on how do you visually design cities and towns and stuff like that. So some ideas. And I know this is Alyssa's home turf. She knows everything that is to know about settlements and do settlement maps of
Very
various
cool.
kinds. She's done so many, and I'm trying to up my game, so I'm slowly getting there. So yeah, so it's coming.
That'll be an awesome discussion. So
yeah,
thank you, Anna. Rich, what's up?
Well, two things. First of all, I have my players almost done with a castle entertainment module.
Wow.
So it's a nice coincidence. You're giving away a castle entertainment, a gift sub.
Yep.
So
Gift
I'm almost done with the Library of Renette. I figure one more session.
Awesome.
And then from there, they're off to the city of Narisban in the Olman Isles. So I've written 8 pages on that city so far. And once they adventure there a bit, I'll tweak it up a bit, and then I'll put it as an article on Cannon Fire for anybody else to just take and use for their campaign.
Nice.
That'll be a
Will
narrative.
there be a map that goes with that?
Yeah, I'm asking Michael to put the map.
Nice.
That helped me
Very
out with that.
nice.
We'll have a map, and we'll have some text, and we'll have some factions, some flavor, the gods, some of these jokes I put in there. So, and the 2 islands, I talk about the islands as well, and everything else. Population figure, outside villages, nearby towns on the islands, the number of omens and Sul and all this. So that's going to be one thing that's going to go out. And the second thing is I'm working with Oranir on taking the postcard booklet that Jay handed out from Virtual Greyhawk Con. So you handed out the draft to everybody who attended.
Yep.
Oranir is currently putting a nice cover page on it, some graphics, better formatting, some images and whatnot. And once that's done, I'll put up on the Cannon Fire for anybody to download.
Yep.
And then I'll work with anybody in the community who wants to promote it so that we can give it to other Greyhawk fans who might not be aware of it. We'll try to get the word out, and they'll take a look at it. And I currently have a younger player reading it, somebody new to Greyhawk, reading the postcards to give me some advice on whether it meets their needs or what I should add to it before it goes out. So
awesome.
And then I got a bunch of little things like upgrade this index for the Dragon magazines and all sorts of other stuff.
Oh, we really appreciate it. You coming on tonight, Rich. Thank you so very much for this. This is
like usual.
Fun one. Only Lord Breslin only snuck that once or twice. So.
Yeah, it's hard to keep them down, man. Hard to keep a good Sul down.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go through this as quick as possible. Hang in there. Tomorrow night, I start undoing this mess. Okay, and this is a long-term campaign plot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start. Yes, we've been talking about this in chat, and you know what? I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Stop bitching about stuff and start making changes. So there you go. This is the first one I'm going to work on. I'm going to tie this in with the Ed Greenwood lore that he gave us on Sunday night. All right. And it fits perfectly. So, importance of a great apocalypse. So, you want to see some, you've probably seen these on some posts, but got some, Altamare's off the table, and we got the Cairn Hills. So, it's Fort Lamont is in here. Yes, Fort Lamont is very far to the east in the Cairn Hills, and the adventuring group's going to have to travel toward Fort Lamont because of something is happening out there, and there's going to be, you'll see some portents and some things going on, and then of course I have to burn everything down in there because I like using the fire effects that Bill the Master Crafter's done and everything. So everything's on fire already.
And Jay, what
Are
I
you
remember,
how the fire was done?
Excuse me.
On your stream, you should tell people how you made that fire.
Well, we're going to have we're going to have a crafting stream shortly, as I'm trying to, that's going to explain a lot of these, terrain craft ideas. So, but it's Bill's effect. This is cotton, spray painted lightly, flocked, flocked in reverse with dark, wrapped around a tea light that's orange that flickers. And the batteries put in there, and that's it. That worked. It looked good.
Jay, now we know why I remember when you showed it, you had a windmill, and I asked, is that the Doom Grinder? And you said, no. Now I know it is the Doom Grinder.
Well, not even, the Doom Grinder, it does exist as that windmill I'm going to use for it.
Spray paint that one black.
That's a great 3D print from Thingiverse that we have. And this is long term. When I do campaign arcs, it's not 3 or 4 sessions. This is over years, right? I want to stretch this out because I got multiple ideas going on. I want this to be momentous for my campaign. So, but I'm going to start.
Cool.
We start with this tomorrow night. Fantasy mapping show we discussed about. Sunday night's Gabbin is going to be an interesting one, and that's last week's, you dummy.
Yeah. So not Ed Greenwood this
Tavern Talk. So we're going to go into taverns. I'll go into something in my campaign. The Noble Pawn. Lord Peakshaven's a tavern. The Gabbin show's in a tavern in Tring Lee. That's where that comes from. We'll talk about ones that are in published source, some ways to tweak them and make changes, do some fun things with taverns. And Jason will bring his Gord skew to him. I imagine Gord's visited a lot of taverns in in the books, and that'll be a fun discussion. Let me talk about one other thing. If you don't know, PAX Unplugged tickets went on sale yesterday. So if you're in the Philly market, it is. And I was supposed to have that link, and I don't have that link up. So that is me being stupid. But yes, PAX Unplugged is December 10th, 11th, and 12th. I will be there, and I'm planning some social and a game. And some things for PAX Unplugged. So if you're around and you want to, I know Antiquitous is going, and we'll have some other, I think Stella Luna is probably going. And also, these events have been submitted for Horror in the Hool, for Gary Con in person, Horror in the Hool's Part 1. And then we're going to, Anna, Mike, and I are going to have an in-person Legends and Lore episode. What's going on in Greyhawk? All right, and then Anna, Alyssa, and I are going to have a fantasy mapping show in person, techniques and technology at their. Oh, cool, man! Santa. If you're going to be a PAX, that'll be cool. So I put them in. They've been approved by Skip. I talked to them today by email. Awesome. They just haven't been scheduled yet. So note that is going onward. So if you're going to be attending any of those, let me know. And we'll get some fun times. PhilCon, I'm not going to PhilCon. No, unfortunately not. I just only so many days. I just can't. Is that the one up in Scranton, PA? Or is that Mepicon? Mepicon, I think, is up in Scranton. So now they're the only ones I'll be going to in person. PAX Unplugged, and then Gary Con will be the next one in person. Yes. But it's good to get back into some in-person cons. So I think that's it. Note also the 2 Drink Minimum Egg Greenwood and Crew Saturday, November 6th. There may be another Saturday night or day special before that I'm working on with some people that may happen before that happens. So I'll let you know if that gets finalized. All right, let's do the giveaways. Thank you all for hanging in there during the announcements, and let's rock and roll this here. All right, last call. That's cool, man. Very, very cool. Gary Con is going to be a blast. All right, Earthscribe got in under the call, and we're gonna do this one giveaway here tonight, and then tomorrow night it should be it's going to be Stratagem / Wiz Dice, some dice sets. I think tomorrow night is the giveaway here. Let me close this out and not crash on everything. The winner is. Are we ready? Dun, 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 dun. I'll email this or Discord this code to you almost immediately tonight, and then we're going to raid into Dr. Faust's painting clinic, because Dr. Faust is going to be on the show soon with Mike Disney, Bill Master Crafter, and myself. Okay. Paul John's Life. Are you on to claim? Paul. I knew that's a fairly new name for a winner. He's on. I see him. Paul John's Life. There you go. Hey. You win. Congrats.
Good.
I will. You're welcome. I will send that to you. Paul John's Life. You can whisper me an email address. It's that way I make sure you get 100%. In Twitch, whisper me an email address for me to send it. All right, everyone. Thanks for a great show. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Rich. And we'll see you tomorrow night for a pretty cool adventure. It's like levels 4 and 5 for these characters for the most part, and it's a 2-weeker, and then after that we go into the Overgourd Halloween special for us. So we'll see you tomorrow night, and then stream Friday as well. Have a good one. Good night. Send the raid up. Raiding into Dr. Faust's painting clinic. Cool. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night. Thank you.
Night, guys.
See you, Rich. Thank you. Let's make sure it went. Looks like it went. Close this out.